Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Ireland Live for Wednesday, the 19th of August, 2026. My name is Paul Fitzsimons. I'll be joined later on by Barry from Wake Up Era. We got news this week that Wake Up Era was closing. They were closing up Wake Up Era, and Barry's going to come on and have a chat around 10 o'clock just to tell me what's going on and how everything went. And yeah, all good. Steady Eddie, how are you, Steady? Ireland for the Irish, yeah, you're right, Eddie, you're dead right. But it's not for the Irish, is it? That's the thing. Oh yeah, was it AI or was it up the Ra? Oh yeah, well, are we sorting to start the mass deportations from the Sharia Fain splinter group? I don't know. I seen different stuff coming out. Like JP, you know yourself, mate. The Ra are not going to tell you what they're going to do. Simple as, you know what I mean? Like this is being run by the state. This is guards doing this or somebody else doing this. Like it's not. There's no way. Lads, we're flying there. We're nearly up to 200. Fair play. Thank you very much. Like, share, sub. I'm going to throw it out there. You can watch us live on X at FitzyDub, at Anthony L. Casey. You can watch us on YouTube at Irish Column and at Gale Force Media. And you can watch us on Facebook, Paul Fitzsimons and Gale Force Media. And you can also watch us on the web, which is www.galeforcemedia.com. Thank you very much. You can also send us, I've loads of text there as well. I'll try and get through a few of them as I'm talking there now. You can get us on WhatsApp on 0892031521, or you can send us an email on galeforcemedia26@gmail.com. Thank you. More comments there. Let's have a look. Drew Cook, evening all. Hiya, Paul. Hope all is well, mate. I got a couple of calls. We were talking about the van the other night and the double bed, and I got a couple of calls off different people. Like, what's the story? You're telling people you're double bed. It's like you're looking, you're going to go around the country doing this, that, the other. Is that what you're looking to do? I said, not at all. I said, I just want somewhere to rest my head when I'm out and about. That's all I want, you know what I mean? But the amount of people that text me and rang me and said that to me, it was funny. Good evening, all. How are you, Paul? How are you, Fitzer? How are you? I'll be talking about what you sent me earlier. That's disgusting. Disgusting. Hello, my wonderful Irish brothers and sisters. Hope you're all safe in this madhouse. We are, Jer. How are you, buddy? Rhonda Doyle. How are you, Rhonda? Howdy, partners. How's things? I was looking in the group earlier and I seen you all. I don't have time to be watching it all day, every day. And I don't, like, you're going back through messages. There's voice messages and there's half of them you can't listen to it. And you know yourself. So I had a look through. Paul, I think, organised a meet or something like that. I'll look through it later on and have a chat. Evening, Jer. Hope all is well. Yes. What is this for? What is what for? What's what for? Hi, Paul. Looking well as always. How are you? Thanks, Mickey. Mickey tip. That's what it says on the tin, doesn't it, Mickey? Remember, it was like Dick Spring. It's like an ad for condom. Do you remember that? Dick Spring, your man Cork. Always found that funny. Evening, Paul. How are you, Jer? How's things, buddy? My green screen fell over there before I started, so that's why I only seen, unlike your man off Red Dwarf. Michael John, good evening from Manchester, UK, Paul. Good evening. How are you? Good evening. Good evening, Paul and chat. How are you, Pat? Good evening, Paul, brother Jer, Rhonda, and everyone. Thank you. Fair play. I'm back, mofos. Jerome, how are you, buddy? You all right? Kicking ship on the one side. Yup. Fair play. Yeah, how's things over your neck of the woods? How are we steady, Eddie, my friend? Yeah. Fergus Power. Good evening, Paolo, and everyone in the chat. God bless all here. Aaron Cabra. Yes. Michelle Keane for president. What? Are you having a fucking giraffe? Come on, Hewley. Oh, stop. We're going to talk about your man as well, Michael McCarthy. I'm going to play his video in a while. He has set up a new... listen, hey, let's... let me just see if I got it there. I have it there somewhere. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, then I have Mousy Dugan. Do you remember Mousy Dugan? Yeah. You all remember Mousy Dugan. It's always the last one, isn't it? Always the big last one. No, it's not there either. Okay. Was it in the videos? Sorry, just let me check the videos. I don't know where it's gone to. Should talk about something else. Let's go with the. I have to find this. This is doing me head in now. Hang on. See here. This is it, is it? Okay. Yeah. Shit. Okay. Let me just. And now they're not letting me play. Oh, yeah. Let me know. Yeah, I'm gonna play this here. You'll hear it now. This is Michael McCarthy's new. How would you say? I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. Okay, let's share this now. I don't know whether you've all seen this or not, but if you haven't, full screen, does that not go full screen? No.
Talk about what's happening to this country. Millions of you have watched. In the last year, we've done over 1 billion views and over 100 million unique accounts have tuned in. Talking can only do so much. I started an organization called Nation Rises. It is not a political party. It's going to be a movement. Something that people who want better for this country can stand behind, direct our focus and deliver results. A young couple can't buy a home. The age you finally can has gone from 26 to 36 in a generation. We have doctors and nurses abroad wanting to come home while we're told to celebrate others that take their place. The government finds billions for everything except the people who live here. Hospital waiting lists and homelessness are at an all-time high. Demographic change is happening rapidly and it isn't slowing down. We want better for this country. Nation Rises will allow people to push for this with a community of thousands of others. That's what this is. We fight this on two fronts. At-home campaigns you can join, participate in. We need to be on the same page, pushing for the same things. That adds pressure they can't ignore. I always believe politics follows what you believe. That's why they spend so much on NGOs and media telling you certain things. Everyone is on the same page. The politics will follow. My goal has always been to change minds. We will be doing that on steroids from here on out. I didn't start this for the fun of it. I want to win, and I want you to as well. There's no time for blackpilling. I want normal Irish people to see a positive future for this country, better than the one we are walking down. Bright future where you don't need to be counting change every month. The second front is overseas. There are millions of Irish across America, Australia, all over the world who never stop caring about home. We will get them involved. They have money, they have influence, and they have a stake in this country's future. It's time we all put our foot down. You'll be able to join Nation Rises on our website, nationrises.com. There you can sign up to be a member. It's a way to be involved and push for change here. The more you put in, recruiting, completing tasks, spreading the word, the further you rise. We built a whole system for it, so the people pushing the movement forward are the ones it's built around. There will be rewards, events, meetups. We will push to have infographic stickers, leaflets in every town and village giving people information. We will also do this abroad, in America and Australia, getting the Irish diaspora involved. If everyone has the same hopes and goals for this country, the politics will follow and things will improve. We all want better, so that's what we will aim towards. You can go pre-order the hoodie. You've seen me wear it for the last few weeks in my videos. Go check out the website, join up, and be a part of something. For two
Now, we were looking into this. People contacted me, and this company is him. Share this. Yeah, there it is. There, as you can see, Michael McCarthy Media Limited, registered number 81265, limited private company, limited by shares, 2nd of 4th, 2026, normal, euro, 2nd of the 10th. Next annual return due on the 2nd of the 10th at Lone Westmead. The nation rises. Secretary and the address in Gloucester, England. Nation Rising is simply the trading name of Michael McCarthy Media Limited, a private company, and now people are being asked to hand over €100 to help build something bigger. Before parting with the cash, though, maybe subscribers deserve an answer to one fairly simple question. Which English far-right influencer is the director of your company behind Nation Rising? Surely that's worth knowing before the wallets come out. I think it is, myself now, to be honest with you. And there it is there. But listen, people had the doubts about Michael McCarthy months ago, last year, when he done that video doing the triangle shit, and no need for it whatsoever. Like, the farmers were there last week as well, you know what I mean? And one of them did the same thing. No one is going to cause controversy, you know what I mean? Is this what they do, you know what I mean, to get their name out there? And the analytics of everything that he's putting out there, like, there's nobody getting out there the way he's getting out there, you know. And they're like, listen, there's no sour grapes here. I couldn't give a shit who watches me and who doesn't watch me, like, you know what I mean? But, you know what I mean? The algorithm is stopping some of us and boosting the rest of us, you know what I mean? Like, I'm on X. I'm sitting under 5,000 followers on X since, Jesus, it hasn't gone up. I probably get 3 every couple, you know, like, and other people are up at 80,000, 90,000, saying the same things I'm saying, like, you know what I mean? But, you know, are they really saying the same thing I'm saying? You know what I mean? Stop sharing that now. But this is the Nation Rises. Who is this far right? Who is it? You know what I mean? I think I know, but I don't know. I can't. I'm not going to say. You know what I mean? But DJ Carey from Minister of Finance. Yeah. So days go, people. The Nation Rises. This is a rip-off. This is a rip-off of Shannon Adina. That's exactly what this is. Like, we have had Shannon Adina going for over 2 years now. Like, you know what I mean? So these are all rip-offs of Shannon Adina. That's all they are. You know what I mean? We have groups. We've groups for everything. We've groups for housing. We've groups for medicine. We've groups for mental health. We have people there that are nurses, doctors, and teachers, and the whole lot that are in these groups. Like, you know what I mean? Don't think for a minute that the vigilantes are have nobody in the groups that know what they're talking about, because we do. Like, you know what I mean? We have plenty of people who know exactly what they're talking about. So I better go through full of these. Mickey tip. I'll give you some double bed if you don't mind me. Oh, you're mental. I'll cuddle you any day, Paul. Cheers. Thanks, lads. Oh, no. How are you doing, Paul? What's the story, buddy? How's things? You're flying with them videos, mate. Fair play to you. If you ain't there to send in to me, send it in. What's happening is, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't see any of your videos unless I go on to your actual profile. You know what I mean? Nothing comes up anymore. I get nothing from Ferg or anyone anymore. Nothing comes up on my feed anymore. I used to get messages from everyone when everyone posted. And people are ringing me and texting me into the show and onto the private, saying that there's no notifications going out anymore and the videos aren't going out anymore. So as I was just saying 5 minutes ago, some people are getting elevated to, you know, hundreds of thousands of followers, and now they're looking for 100 quid for you to join something that Shin and Adina has done for the last 2 years for free. You know what I mean? So if people fall into this trap, fair play to them. You know what I mean? I won't be falling into the trap, and I think I should just let my listeners know. You know what I mean? The whole 400 is there. Fair play at the minute. We're hitting 400. Thanks, lads. And I'll just put that up there. Yeah, we just hit 400. Fair play to everyone. Thanks very much. Keep tuning in there and share it out everywhere, lads. Share it out everywhere. We're on Facebook, the whole lot. We're everywhere tonight. Everywhere. There's no getting away from us tonight. And let me see more comments. Paul O'Neill. Hi, I hope you're good. Yes, we're all good. How are you, Paul? John Flynn, how are you, Paul? What's wrong with saying you have a double bed? Nothing. It was just funny. It was just, I was getting texts and voice messages off people. Just, Fitzat, you couldn't make it up. Hello, everyone. What's this? How not to rape leaflet is only available in English. They don't fucking speak English. Yeah. Well, right, you sent that to me. I'm gonna play that now. Hang on. It's TikTok. Yeah, let me just move this all over here. Yeah, make it bigger. Yeah. Sorry, I told you, Barry from Wake Up Air, it'll be on after 10 o'clock. I said I wanted to make sure I had a good few on. You know what I mean? So that's why I said we'd wait till 10 o'clock and let him come on and say what he has to say and talk about whatever. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna play this now. This is GB News from earlier on. My God. Why can't I get rid of Okay, I'm gonna just play this, lads. This is shocking. This is shocking. But GB News, the People's Channel. Okay. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I didn't add the volume. You have to share out the volume on the entire screen as well. So add audio. I watched this. This is horrific. Horrific.
It's very, very rare a story comes to GB News that completely takes my breath away, but it's this. It's emerged a short moment ago that asylum seekers coming to Britain are being given booklets telling them not to rape women and warning that sex with children is illegal in the United Kingdom. The guide is freely available on the Home Office website. You can see some pictures on your screen now, obtained by GB News. It also tells migrants that men and women are equal under UK law. And in a section on domestic abuse, it says that people will go to prison if they attack their partner. Let's just recap what people coming here are being told by the Home Office. Asylum seekers given booklets telling them not to rape women and warning them that sex with children is illegal. It goes on to say the legal age of consent in the UK is 16. And this means that anyone under the age of 16 is considered a child and cannot legally agree to have sex. Sex with someone under the age of 16 is a serious crime in the UK. There are no exceptions to this rule. It continues. Even if they say yes, it is still illegal. You could go to prison, lose your support and accommodation, and it will affect your asylum claims. Seriously. This is being handed out to asylum seekers in this country. It's been written by the Sun newspaper, a disturbing guide on how not to rape women in the United Kingdom. It's been paid for by the British taxpayer, and it's being handed out to immigrants arriving from different countries. Look at it. In the UK, both people must say yes to sex. It says this is called consent. There's a picture there of a woman crying on a bed. Look, if you have sex with someone who does not want to, this is called rape. Rape is a serious crime. If it is still rape if you're married to the person or are in a relationship, it is still rape if they agreed once but changed their mind. If you have sex without consent, you could go to prison, it warns. Presumably in the countries some of these men are coming from, none of these rules apply. Is this an admission? We're importing dangerous men from countries who have no concept of British law, no concept of sex with minors, no concept of rules of consent, no concept of the rules of standard, decent, respectful engagement. It continues, as you can see on your screen, in terms of violence. It's illegal to harass people, it says. In the UK, everyone has the right to feel safe in public. It warns people as if they need telling. You must never make sexual comments to strangers, even as a compliment. You must never approach someone repeatedly if they are not interested. That's called stalking or harassment. You must never, it concludes, follow someone or block their path. Now, this guide is freely available on the Home Office website. It also tells migrants that men and women are equal under UK law. And as I say, that section on domestic abuse, it says that people can go to prison if they attack their partner. We've got some huge...
Sorry, my mic is off. Are we giving out these booklets as well? Like, come on. Something like, if you have to give booklets out to these savages, then they're not welcome in the country. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? They're not welcome. I'm just going to, somebody said, R.I.P. Derek Floyd. Like, I haven't heard anything. Nobody has contacted anyone to let them know anything about it. I don't know how true that is, or someone said he fell off a roof there. I don't know how true that is. I've just text someone there to see. Just, I don't know. Just bear with me there. Turn off this mic. I'm about to get a message back, so I'm just going to turn off this mic for a second. Okay, just as well I didn't have that on. But yeah, that's this person hasn't heard it, so I don't know, lads. You know what I mean? If it's almost an admittance. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Like, sub, share, Mickey tip. That's the Derek Clay passport. I don't know, lads. I'm not gonna comment on it until I know. So listen, there's people in the comment there now. Yeah, okay. There, Dublin says no. Ask Michael where the €176,000 he got in the GoFundMe for the fuel protest went. I need money for leaflets and placards out of it, or he can fuck off. That's Collie. Yeah, okay, fair enough. But I seen that he done a video a couple of months ago about that, saying it cost so many thousand to do this, and so many thousand to package this, and so many thousand to do this. I don't think it was 176,000. But hey, listen. As I've said already, Shin and Adina have been doing this for the last 2 years, FOC, free of charge. We never asked for donations. We start doing merchandise. It was actually the Limerick crew who started doing the merchandise because we were going all around the country, and it just wasn't sustainable. So they done the merchandise, sold a bit of merchandise, and that's how they used to get around the country. They used to go and marshal a lot of protests without, you know. Now, Michael will marshal him now for you for £100. Very sad. He has a young family. Is it true, Liz? I don't know whether it's true or not. Is there anyone in the comments? Ferg, have you heard anything? Ger Delaney, you're down in Cork. Surely you'd have heard this. That's why I'm not commenting on this. Paul, would you go on Starlink Internet? I would if it wasn't £50 a bleeding month. I'm going to be going on it probably. I'm going to have to go on it with while I'm doing my roving reporting around the country. Yeah, I'll probably have to do it. Yeah, so £50 a month. You know, we'll just have to sell a couple more coffees, or sell some coffees, a couple more. Hey, negative, hope you're well. Native, sorry, hope you're well. Derek posted 2 hours ago on Facebook. Yeah, there you go. You know what I mean? So who's ever putting that out there, come on, lads, fuck's sake, there's no need for that. Like, you know what I mean? No need for that whatsoever. You know what I mean? He has got it, you know. Sober, R.I.P. Derek. Who is this sober start? It was you who started all this off, sober start. Where did you get this information from? Any chance of putting in the comments there and letting us know? You know? My mic is giving feedback. Is it? Sorry about that. How was that now? Is that a bit better? Yeah, than any sober, you definitely need to sober up a little bit more. Yeah, come on, like, you know what I mean? For fuck's sake. What's been said about Michael McCarthy is very unfair. Do you think it is very unfair, Michael John? Just because he's good looking doesn't mean he's a good guy. You know what I mean? Like he has, there you go. It's in black and white there. I've shared it for you. Nation Rising, it's his company, Michael McCarthy Media Limited. It's a private company. You know what I mean? Nation Rising. A few other people have tried this as well, doing these same things. You know what I mean? And then they hook you in and buy you in, and we're not political. Yeah, of course you're not. So no, Michael, it's not. So is he dead or not? I don't know, but like, I don't think so. Uber spoofing. Yeah, I think it. Yeah, big time. Yeah. Nope, he's still posting. So unless he's signaling on the other side, I wouldn't put it past him, yeah. Yeah, so we're started. This is the second time in the last 6 months you've tried to tell us Derek Lloyd died for falling off a roof. Better look next time. I don't remember him telling us that the last time, Drew. To be honest with you, I really don't. Michael should be put on the scrutiny, same as anyone else. Yeah, of course. Yes, of course. Paul for president, Nancy for Taoiseach. Yeah, glad to take it. Glad to whoop the artist there, no problem. What the fuck then is about Derek Lloyd? It's somebody acting the Bullocks. That's why I said I wasn't saying anything until I found out. I texted someone there. They sent me a message back that was funny and whatever, and I couldn't repeat it. And that's when I knew he wasn't, you know what I mean? Because they'd have known, you know. Yeah, going around saying that is bad. It is bad. It's very bad. Yeah, you shouldn't do that, man. You know what I mean? Is anyone else getting feedback here from me, buzzing or anything like that? I'm just getting a message in there from Anthony. If you drop on Anthony if you want for a few minutes. But Fine Gael, Puppet, and Ma. Yeah. Blessing says, no, good evening all. Good evening. Hello there. Sober seems to have got few drinks into him and become not so sober. Derek was posting a few hours ago on social media. Yeah. Same here. Don't see Greg, Paul, or yourself, Paul. Don't see Greg. I don't know what you mean there. Michael Mack came from nowhere with huge following. Real, genuine, bananas, grabs. Yes, exactly. Now you have it. I said it 15 minutes ago. You know what I mean? The people who are putting in. Oh, Ferg. Sorry. Pauline Cherry. Yeah, same here. Don't see Ferg, Paul, yourself, Paul. Yeah. Michael Mack came from nowhere with a huge following, while the real, genuine, relentless grafters like Barry Stone, Noreen O'Shea, and more never get the attention they deserve. Well, I'm going to be honest, Barry Stone, I don't think was ever looking for attention. I don't think Noreen was either. Noreen just does great work. She does some brilliant investigation, I tell you. And yeah, I'll be having chats with Noreen the next week or two. I'm going to have a chat with her to see if she wants to come on and talk about. We may as well get it out here, like, you know what I mean? May as well. Craig, not Greg. Yeah, Derek was in tragic accident. He wasn't. Stop telling lies here, Sober Start. Come on, man. Online, unless I look for you, definitely shadow ban. Yeah, exactly. That's it. As I said, I don't see any of them. I don't see Fergs. I don't see anyone's anymore. Unless I actually go in and look for them. Where they used to, Tinker stuff used to pop up all the time, and I'd watch it and I'd save it and I'd have it for the show. Now I don't see it. I don't see it unless I actually go looking for it. Evening all. Good evening. Can't be that tragic. He was uploading work videos on Facebook. There you go. There you go. Newspaper. Fine Gael and previous mayor of Tallinn dropping leaflets indoors on behalf of his son, baby, Prepper. Baby Prepper Banda, yeah. Still no word on the accusation of charging Indian Rush 3,000 for getting replacement. Yeah, that was his company. Yeah, and this one, Ebon Joseph. Have you seen this? She wants the 400,000 workers in the NGO sector to all undergo racial training on racial abuse and how to deal with it and how not to be racist, how not to be a racist to black people. I couldn't write this shit. She'll get 14 million or is it 400 or 14 million out of this? There's 400,000 of them, and I think it's 64 quid. 64 to 28. I think she gets 14 million or something like that. So my TikTok and Instagram both froze tonight. Anyone else's? Your Instagram. Hold on. There's my Instagram there. No, I'm good. Instagram's good. I'm saying that I'll start talking about Jews in a few minutes, Pat, and let Neil go mental. I sent in a short there, Paul, on WhatsApp. Still feedback. Yeah, is anyone getting any feedback from me? GB News has Jewish backers yet. Lizzie, they have used platforms for a reason. There's very little substance put out. Exactly, controlled narrative. That's exactly what I'm on the same page as you on this one. I really am. And even people who held it, like, I don't know that they're given the sort of the same message as what we're given, maybe not as abrupt or as in your face about it, but they are talking about it and it's getting out a little bit, but not to the extent that we need to get it out to with them. You know what I mean? Like, the only protest I've seen him at was the big one last year. That's the only protest I've ever seen him at. He's been talking about, I've been out protesting and at protests for the last 2 years. The only protest I've seen him at last year was the one in April, I think it was. And he was very standoffish, wouldn't talk to anyone, doesn't want to be associated with the far right, you know what I mean? And the same as Elaine Mullally and them, they don't want to be associated with us, and because we are the far right, apparently, you know what I mean? Whereas there's good people with us, there's better people with us than there is with you, you know what I mean? So we know that for a fact because we've seen how your infiltrations work and everything else. So yeah, we know who the people are. You don't. So Michael's project seems to have big cash element. Yes, pay away to status in the movement. Bit Scientologist, if you ask me. Yeah. Well, he done the Mason science. As I said, there's no need for that. He knew that was going to cause controversy, or was he told to do that? You have to do that in this video, or you don't get funded, or you don't get your 100,000 followers, your 300,000, or your 2 billion views. Come on, lads. Come on. Jerry Delaney has loads of great videos on the last platform. He has YouTube, but likely his account kept in the dark with YouTube. Yes, exactly. Sure, our stuff is not going out either. Absolutely. Yeah, it says all you need. Have an open mind. Anyone in the line with. Yeah. Look at your woman putting out stuff as well about COVID, this, that, and the other, about Billy Ralph, and I don't know. Is it going anywhere? You know what I mean? What's the name? O'Loughlin, is it Ashton O'Loughlin? Fucking unbelievable. You have to explain that to the animals. Yeah, that's the thing you're talking about, yeah. Well, you can see through the smoke, always hold your head up and walk with a purpose. Yeah. You will indeed, no problem. Definitely, if you have to give them these booklets, then they shouldn't be allowed in the country. Exactly, yeah. And the booklet is in English. All of them say they can't understand it. They should have never been in the UK. But these are going to the UK and coming here then. Sorry, I missed out on all these new Coppinger got to go from we stopped these protests. Yeah, no, I know that, Pat, but there was 170 grand in it when it stopped. There we go. Serious buzzing noise. Okay. Serious buzzing noise. Yeah, 2 hours ago. There you go. I'm just going to share this, guys. I glide 300 blocks from my back pocket and a smile on my face 2 hours ago. Okay, guys. He looks very alive to me. And I think it's wrong to be doing this, to be saying this shit about people. You know what I mean? It's not nice at all. The same thing happened to Cat Nolan's there a while ago. They put out that her husband had died, if you remember, shot off Fair City, or her partner, or whatever he is, and that didn't happen. They've been doing it with a few people now, you know what I mean? It's not on, you know what I mean? It's not on good, so. Yeah. She got to go from Ruth Coppinger gets everything. Where is she now? Where's Ruth Coppinger now about the child that was raped in Galway last week? Gang rapes. You know what I mean? By 2 guys from the IPAD Centre. And this law that they can't give their names because they're refugees, because they're asylum seekers, this is bullshit. This law should have never been passed. Your name should be given out and a photo fit given out the way it used to be years ago. I remember something happened. If that happened, I used to go to school in Ballycarney, and you'd be going to school. I remember a murder was done, and there was the murder suspect's face was in a photo fit. The woman was, something happened to her in the park up there, and the same again. The E-fit was out. They showed you. Now they don't show you anymore. They don't tell you anything. If it's an Irishman, they tell you. Have they told you who killed the guy in Mountjoy either? I don't think they told you that either, have they? Is he an asylum seeker as well, or new to the parish? Yeah. Buzzing sound, someone saying, is the mic. No, it's not. Move it away there. Can you? Is that any better? Buzzing sound. I can hear the buzzing noise. Michael isn't good look. He probably is to a gay man. Is. Michael is Griff. They're sharing visitors. Isn't saving fucking hair. It's actually, you know, and that's all he does. That's exactly all he does. He's not on anyone's side, or he hasn't nailed his flag to the. It's still there. Jesus, this. I don't know what's wrong here. I might change the mic now in a minute. Here, control this. Let me check. Change this. Okay. One, two. I'd say that's better now, is it? How's that, everyone? I think that's better now. Yeah, a lot of feedback. Yeah, do you know what was happening? It was going through. Sorry about that, people. That's it now. Perfect. Thanks, lads. Yeah. Paul, you need some tiny hats, Skeckle hunting her better, Mike. No, I have. It was, do you know what happened? It was, I was out before I was out before I got, like, I didn't get here till 10 to 9 or whatever. Like, I was late getting back here, and I had set up the show somewhere else. And no, it's working now. I had set up the show somewhere else, and I hadn't got all the equipment connected to it. So when I ran back in here, I just plugged it all into the USBs, boom, connected into the thing, and it was set to the Surface Pro, the mic on the actual laptop instead of the mic here in front of me, and that's where you're getting the feedback from. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it sounded like an Orla issue. Did you not see my comment, Paul? Stephen Maloney. I didn't, mate. Let me go back there. Oh, you, Paul. It sounds like the Stena pulling out. Stephen Maloney. Sorry, Stephen. Let me have a look. Stephen Maloney. I didn't see it, mate. Didn't see it. Yeah. Stephen Maloney. How far up were you, mate? I didn't see it. Throw it back in again if you can, mate. Throw it back in again. Because I had to go buy a load of them there just to get down there. So throw it back in again, Stephen, if you can. All forgiven, Paul. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I'm really sorry about that. But could you hear? You could hear the other stuff, but you could hear everything. That's grand. Sounds Teresa. How are you, Teresa? How's things? It's grand now. Paul's getting a bit better. All is forgiven, Paul. We love you. Thanks very much. Cheers. Up to 500 there now, lads. Fair play. Keep sharing it out there to everyone. Oh, God. Yeah. I want to do... let me have a look. Dun, dun, dun. Right, yeah, I just want to... Have you seen this in... Now, I know it's America and everything else, guys, but at the end of the day, my colleague in Dublin says, no, come fuck off with calling a protest. Leave it to the professionals. Colleague, can you help us? If you want, you can hold balls while I speak and address. Here, my cock's long. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. Fucking easy. Sorry about that too, colleague. I didn't cop it. I'll ban him there now. I understand, Paul. I did a sound engineering course. Peace in the valley. Yeah, lol. Yeah. Buzzing stopped back to the haze. Okay. Yeah, America. Let me just pull this up here. Okay. Former Fauci advisor pleads guilty to the COVID record scandal just got very real. Okay. This is no longer simply an allegation. David Morenz, a longtime senior advisor at NIAID during Anthony Fauci's leadership, has pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit offences and defraud the United States. The case concerns efforts to conceal government records relating to COVID-era research grants, private emails, attempts to evade public record laws, communications the American people had a legal right to obtain, and the Irish people had a legal right for this, because our country was shut down because of him. He was the man who shut us down. And according to prosecutors, discussions surrounding the controversial bat coronavirus research grant and the COVID oranges debate were among the records involved. Now the questions become bigger. Who else knew? Who else participated? Who were the co-conspirators? How far up the chain did this go? And perhaps most importantly, what were they so desperate to keep from the public? Morenz could face up to 5 years in federal prison. Fauci has not been charged in the case. But after years of arguments about deleted messages, private emails, FOIA requests and transparency surrounding COVID origins, a former senior NIAID official has now admitted criminal conduct. The investigation cannot stop with one man. Follow the emails, follow the records, follow the evidence. So I'm just going to play this video here. This is Rand Paul. Have a listen.
A former senior advisor at Dr. Fauci's National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. He's facing charges now for allegedly attempting to hide federal records during the COVID pandemic. His name is David Morenz. You actually referred him to the DOJ for criminal prosecution in 2024. What's your reaction to all this, quickly?
I'd say it's about time. He was the top lieutenant to Anthony Fauci. Anthony Fauci has denied really having a connection to him, but they worked together for 20 years. So there really are some questions about whether or not Morenz's illegal activity also may have involved others at NIH. Yeah. There are two unnamed co-conspirators, and I think there may be more in this.
Well, they were trying to keep sensitive information from the public. We deserved to see it then. We deserve to see it now. Senator Rand Paul, thank you very much.
Just Rhonda there. Just, Paul, can you play Bohemian Rhapsody on the baby grand piano? We'll all join in. Funny you should say that. I was talking to a guy last Monday, and he said to me, "Chase, that's some cafe I live in." And he said, "Do you play that piano?" Oh, I said, I wish. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to get back to this now. There's a lot of stuff coming out about Fauci. Let's be honest about it here, people. Fauci shut down the whole world. Everything followed from what Fauci had to say. Okay. And the fact that he went in there, 2 weeks ago and pleaded the fifth 106 times or something like that. They asked him what color was his toy and what day it was and what color was the carpet. And he pleaded the fifth to everything. Now, Sorry, what's this saying? Brother Jer, at the bottom of the rabbit hole, you realise that the T-shirt is the T is silent, yeah. I seen a great video today, the Anglo-Saxon mission. It's all planned, so is nuclear war. They all have the bunkers, guys. They all have the bunkers. This is crazy. You all claim the media is fake news, and now they're credible. This is crazy. You all claim the media is fake news, and now they're credible. No, now they're talking about it. Now they're talking about it. So there you go. You know, you can't not talk about it now. It's so in your face now. You know what I mean? But you won't get CNN talking about it or any of them. I'll never forget 2020 if I live to 100. The way people carried on, I'm the same, mate. I'm where I am here. I'm going to be honest with you, right? This, as I said, this kicked off for me with Trump with the in 2019 with the stolen election. You know what I mean? I was watching it live, real time. I was up all hours of the morning. Like I had a US politics channel and I was posting shit on it all night. You know what I mean? I was up 3 and 4 in the morning. That's when I did all the investigating of the whole lot. And I was watching it live. But before that, I used to watch CNN. You know what I mean? And CNN was Trump's a baddie. Oh, Trump's a scumbag. Trump is this. And I thought, it couldn't be that bad. And then I looked and I watched the Charlottesville thing. I spoke about this the other night and I saw that's not what he said. And then I started watching different things and watching live stuff and seeing he didn't say that again and what he was saying. And then I watched all the Giuliani stuff and the whole lot. And I fell out with lots of people over it. Lots of people telling me I was a fucking idiot. And then the COVID stuff kicked in. And I'm going to be honest with you, my ex-partner done a blog, Living with the Man in the Tinfoil Hat. That was it. Man, I swear to God, I shit you not. If I can get the transcript, I'll get it. I have a picture of it somewhere because I took a picture of it years ago. But yeah, Living with the Man in the Tinfoil Hat. Yeah, really. Yeah. Also, Theodore, the people who's bringing him up is the very same deep state that hold him. Yeah, I know. I have no faith anymore. We'll be held responsible. People simply don't want to know, especially the jabbed. Seen a post where someone said we were mad as nobody died from the vax. Well, we know that's bullshit, don't we? We know that that's bullshit. And the man that's coming on in the next few minutes, he'll be on in a few minutes, Barry, well, he's testament to that because like this man is meeting people every other day. There's people contacting him every other day who are vaccine injured and the whole lot, you know. He tried to plead the fifth over and over, but they gave him but they have him by the Lear Rowley. Yeah, they have him in contempt. But what are they going to do? You know what I mean? Like, it's like here as well, Angela. Like, look. I know Fauci was to blame for a lot of what happened here, but there was people here who were put in place to do that. You know what I mean? Like the likes of Donnelly. Like that was his only job. His only ministerial job ever, like it's only his only TD's job ever was. Why would you put him in there as minister for, for health? Come on, the man was a dope. You know what I mean? He's gone now, and so he had Harris in there before that. You know what I mean? And Harris was the man who messed up the cervical cancer stuff, and people died. You know what I mean? And again, Fauci lied, and millions died. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? So. That they're doing Billy Ralph, the likes of Billy Ralph here and the other doctors, you know what I mean, for malpractice and not going along with the narrative when now it has been proven that the narrative was wrong. That, everybody, you know what I mean? Like, hang on there for a minute. I'm going to pull this up here now. Let me see that there now. Where are you? I had it there a minute ago. Yeah. Okay. Now this was in June. Okay, this was in June, right? Pfizer on the hang on there. Sorry, this was on the 18th of June this year, right? It's official. Pfizer has just published a list of possible side effects. Okay. Now I'm going to just share this because, and I'm going to read them as well because it is disgusting. Okay, if you can see it there, you can see it there. Number 1, blood clots, acute kidney injury, acute flaccid myelitis, positive anti-sperm antibodies, brainstem embolism, brainstem thrombosis, cardiac arrest, hundreds and there's probably thousands of cases now, heart failure, cardiac ventricular thrombosis, cardiac shock, central nervous system vasculitis, neonatal death, deep vein thrombosis, brain stem encephalitis, hemorrhagic encephalitis, front lobe epilepsy, epileptic psychosis, facial paralysis, fetal distress syndrome, gastronomical amyloidosis, generalized tonic-clonic seizure, Hashimoto's encephalopathy. The stuff here like hepatic vascular thrombosis, shingles reactivation. So if you had shingles before, they can be reactivated. Turbo cancers, cancer reactivation, turbo cancers. We all know people who have been hit with turbo cancers. I was only talking to the guys in Gale Force Media with me the other day, and like I personally know 3 people in the last 2 years who, from time that they were diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, the time they died was between 6 weeks and 2 months. 3 young men, young men, 58, 59, 62, immune-mediated hepatitis, interstitial lung disease, jugular vein embolism, juvenile myoclonic epilepsy, liver damage, low birth weight, multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children, myocarditis. Myocarditis is rampant. Neonatal seizure, pancreatitis, pneumonia, stillbirth. Like, come on, stillbirths. Tachycardia, temporal lobe epilepsy, testicular autoimmunity, thrombotic stroke, type 1 diabetes, neonatal vein thrombosis, vertebral artery thrombosis, pericarditis. That's similar to myocarditis. It scars on your heart, and you can't fix it. Sudden infant death syndrome. Like, there's 49. That's just 49 that's listed there. You know what I'm saying? So I'll stop sharing that now. What's this there? Stephen Maloney. Well, Jer, how are you, brother? Been a while since I watched this. Just saying that me and others were a big part of Shinanadina Limerick, led the way at first, starting Shinanadina, and the boys and Shinanadina was the first group. Yes, Stephen, fair play to you. Yeah, I remember it well, mate. Well done. You were savage. And we used to see you going around there. Stevie, you were everywhere. Like, that's what I said. I said, that's what I said. Yous are the ones that used to go around the country. The Limerick crew, it was the Limerick crew that went around the country. You know what I mean? If you remember. And I remember you getting the smack of the hammer and everything else. Yeah, it was disgusting. You know what I mean? So, yeah, fair play, Stevie. Exactly, Jay. It's all dog and pony show to sell illusion. Yeah. I'm missing loads there. We should be able to sue the government for all discrimination we went through. And Tony O'Houlihan and Co never answered for the smear test scandal, and they're not being called up for what they pushed during the pandemic. Exactly. Jared Delaney. And the degenerate Luke O'Neill himself. He is a scumbag. I was only talking about him the other day to someone. He definitely has shares in News Talk. I'm telling you now, he definitely has shares in News Talk. Liz, I think everyone is sick of the shite going on in this movement by our own people, even our own calling our own far right. Anyone else sick of being called far right? I don't care anymore about being called far right. But this is what I'm telling you. Are you talking about me, Rich, when I said earlier on about that we're too much far right for the likes of McCarthy and the rest of them? Well, we are, and we know that for a fact because I've got word back from these people, not from these people, but from people around these people who have said they want nothing to do with any of us. So, Sarah Mary Louise, hey, Paul from Corfu, we're in a small town, all locals, we're the outsiders, as it should be. Look, cheers, Sarah. You enjoy. The more they go after the doctors, the more they expose how corrupt the COVID scam was. Yeah, Dr. Death Tony be promoting mRNA cancer jabs. Yeah, they've all been doing it, lads. I've had every single one of those symptoms up before a single vaccine was administered in Ireland. I was the same, Jay. But I was blocked on Facebook and I was blocked on Twitter as well. Like, it's only a while, like, it's not very long that it's only when Musk stopped everything that Twitter got good. You know what I mean? Yeah, once we were locked down, they were flooding us with unvaccinated illegal immigrants. Yeah, all of them ones that come in from Africa are Stephen Maloney. Can't find it myself. Just saying, I can vouch that Shinnin Adina was the first group to start patrols for people's towns and cities. Because, as you know, Limerick was one of the first and helped lead the way with your Paul. Yeah, brilliant. It was brilliant, it was. We have to get back to doing this. You know what I mean? Like, we have groups set up there now, different people around the country, different people in Dublin, and like, there's people reaching out to me. And like, you know yourself, Stephen, you can't go everywhere to meet people. But we're going to organise something now in the next while, and we will go around meeting people. That's because that's how this grows, Stephen. You know what I mean? You have to be meeting people. You have to be talking to people. So yeah, fair play to you. You were a stalwart down there, I have to say. Well done, mate. Yes, Jerry, December 2019 was a bad dose of flu down the rounds. I got it. And it was the last one I got. I think I got COVID. I didn't yours get COVID. It was a flu I got. I got that on the 19th of December. That's when I got that. Yeah. Yeah. And on New Year's Eve, I was looking for holidays to go to. We were going to go to Turkey in July. And I was online looking. And as I was online looking, there was things popping up. Chinese people dropping dead in the street. All bullshit. But we all fell for it. We did all fall for it. You know what I mean? And like the mask thing, I wasn't into wearing the mask at all, but I went along with it for about 3 or 4 days, and then I thought, bollocks to this. No, not having this. Yeah. Talk about a biological weapon. Like, it's killing people. Rich, I hate this American left versus right because both sides are actors. Yeah, nationalism is neither left nor right. It's love of nation. Yeah. Rich, I'm far middle. Yeah, I'm me. Okay, if fighting for your children and my children and everyone else's children to have a better future in this country makes me far right, well, then I'm far right. I'll hand on heart. Okay, fair enough. And making my country a better country for Irish people. If that's what they're going to brand me with, let them brand me with it. They all have blood in their hands, but they'll never be held accountable. They are all put in place for a reason. Yeah. It's been years coming, yeah. I remember well, Paul, the 30-day cough, they labelled it in Cork, yeah. And now that anyone who's vaccinated, do you know anyone who's not vaccinated that has long COVID? Just throw it out there, like, you know what I mean? Like, long COVID. Like, the vaccine injured, they have pawned off now with long COVID. Oh, you're going to have COVID for a while. Now, I've seen people I know, young enough people, get rid of Derek Lloyd there, he's looking at me there, the bleeding picture's still there, but young enough people, like, you know what I mean? But the vaccine, there's a lot of vaccine injured in Ireland, a lot of vaccine injured, you know what I mean? And you see them now, and they're getting every time you get sick, they're getting sicker, and it's lasting longer and longer and longer. Now, like, they're coming through it, but the pharmaceutical companies are giving them steroids. They're giving them ivermectin, not ivermectin. That'd be too good for them. They're giving them amoxicillin, penicillin, different shit like that. You know what I mean? That's what they're giving them. You know what I mean? Top stuff like that. You know what I mean? Instead of just giving them the what's the cancer one? Let me think now in a minute. There's two of them now. There's the ivermectin and the other one. A dose of malpractice for their malinformation on their doses. Yeah, exactly. You bad Fitzy. My mate went to the hospital after first ever seizure, and the first thing he was asked, did you take any vaccines? They fucking know, they're not safe. Of course they know, Pada. Of course they know, Pada. That's Big Pada, isn't it? Pada Doyle. Yeah, I'm sure that's Big Pada. How are you, Pada? Shout out. I was only looking at a picture of you yesterday holding a placard. They will be held accountable. Give it time. Well, unless you get a nationalist-run government in here, there will be no accountability to any of this. Or unless you get the likes of Keoghan and them you're not going to get anything out of this government. There's just no. A friend of mine died of cancer a few weeks ago. She diagnosed and died within weeks. Yeah, very sad. She was a friend for 30 years. Fauci and Bill Gates need to be locked up. Exactly. But what I'm saying is Fauci was the man. But you know yourself, America farts, we smell it in 2 weeks' time. You know what I mean? That's how it works. You know what I mean? Everything pans down from America, goes to UK, us. So within 2 weeks, the whole world was in lockstep, lockdown. And that was down to Anthony Fauci. And now Fauci, and now your man today has pleaded guilty. So it implicates Fauci and everyone else. But as I said, he's pardoned up until 20. I think he got 10 years. No, did he? Was it 14 years? Or I think he's pardoned until next year or something like that. Old people were more than nursing homes. Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to be honest with you. Like the books or hate the books. Okay. They were the ones that were shouting about it. I remember passing them in Coolock and beeping the horn. I didn't know what it was until I went by, but I beeped the horn. They were outside Coolock Garda Station and people were saying they were nuts. They're mental bastards. And there was people dying in nursing homes around the area and they were calling it out. Like anything that they have called out, I know people say that this and that and this and that. They're a good family. You know what I mean? You meet people in Castlebar or whatever down there that I know in Castlebar, oh, they're bleeding nuts, they're this, they're that, they're always in court. But anything they're in court for is good. Like the sister, Amy or Amy or whatever her name is, she was in for the mask mandate thing, that she wouldn't wear a mask. You know what I mean? And against her employer and this, that, and the other. And then you've Enoch then for the transgenderism. Then you've the other young fella then because they won't let him in onto the bar. You know, it's disgusting. Like, you know what I mean? It's not as though this family are on the social welfare, sponging off the state. They're all working in top jobs. They all have top qualifications. But these aren't allowed to get on. You know what I mean? What chance do you have? Anyone who's on the Labour or anyone who's trying to just scrimp and scrave to get by? You know what I mean? But yeah, the media have a lot to answer for. I tell you, Julie, none of them will be held accountable. Emma Lamb, Stephen, you were great. Help the Galway, shouldn't have done it. Get up and running too. Yeah, you were. Stephen was a good guy. He still is a good guy. Luke O'Neill, who was doorstepped, admitted he didn't take the jab. Yeah, I know. Colette was a targeted campaign. Yeah. Collie top man as well, my brother. Yeah. Jared Delaney, sorry to hear that, Rhonda. What happened, Rhonda? I didn't hear what you... Rhonda Doyle, oh, sorry. My mom died within 10 days of diagnosis of terminal cancer. She had multiple clear scans and blood tests for 3 months before her passing. And then all of a sudden, yeah, I knew a girl that's, yeah, I've spoke about on the show before, that, yeah, died within weeks. Yeah. Fergus Power, Dr. Jerry Water was the only doctor who refused to give that poison to anyone, as far as I'm aware, and the others did. He also didn't take the over the phone. Yeah, money. Yeah, he saw his patients in house. A legend he is. Yeah, Jerry is a good man, I have to say. And it was actually me who brought him into the Irish Freedom Party. Believe it or not, I was asked, "Can you get Jerry Waters?" And I had been talking to Jerry a few times, and I just reached out to him, and he joined the party. Yeah, I don't think he's still there now, but yeah, Jerry, I've had. And do you not remember the show we did last year? Was it Trust the Science? We had about 6 or 7 episodes of that. Kira, come on, you know I'm on the show. Group call. So yeah, Rhonda, sorry for your loss. I lost my sister too. Guys, we all know people. I would die a happy man if these bastards were actually held responsible. The likes of Claire Bourne and Joe Duffy have a lot to answer to. Do you know who your man Joe is? It Joe O'Shea? You know that little Cork runt? He's from Cork, isn't he? Little scumbag. I remember sitting here one night watching him, and he's talking about how people are going to die in hospitals if we don't get vaccinated, and how we'll have to make a choice of who's going to live and who's going to die. And no, and I thought to myself, I said it to me, I said, lots of people are going to get vaccinated now because of this. I said, he is going to be the reason a lot of people are getting vaccinated, and it's true. He needs to be held accountable as well. I don't care. The whole lot of them, Claire Bourne, him, Luke O'Neill, News Talk, The whole lot of them, all RTE, every one of them, you know. I sent you a video there, 52-2. He lets it rip. It's great. Hang on, I sent a video. Hold on there. Oh, who's at the sending me this? I have millions of videos that are getting sent into me there. That's Getter. No, okay, that's someone else. Let me see. Okay, that's it. Which one are you? There's loads of messages there. I don't know which one it is. Let me see there. That's the fucking crack here, Paul. No, okay. Better to be far right when it comes being replaced. And yeah, I agree with you. But Paul, the barman says it's the same on the mainland in Greece. Just on the island, they haven't seen it yet. But he said he knows it's coming. He has 2 daughters, so he's worried. Get them the fuck out of there, mate, before they come. Get them out of there. And I'll tell you why. Because there's reports coming in from Spanish police, okay? I'm just going to put this up here. Hang on just for a sec. Just give me a second there. Yeah, there's reports coming in from Spanish police that they're taking the kids. Yeah, I'm just going to hang on there a minute. That they're taking the kids, okay? The reports of Spanish police sources and Dupol Union, the 18th of August, state that illegal Moroccan and sub-Saharan migrants have been dragging girls into the mountains near Quetas Seti for group sexual assaults. Multiple outlets, El Mundo, Euronews, and Reuters confirmed 10 to 15 investigated assaults on underage migrant girls since the late July influx. Some in the hills with hospital cases and girls seeking police protection. Several arrests have occurred. So there you go. Look, that's now it is true because I went and looked on the webpage on this La Caseta. There it is there. I just don't know how to change it to I don't know how to change it to English. Some bullshit new RT show about immigrants starting tonight. Yeah, I'll rip the piss out of that tomorrow. Yeah, let me stop sharing that. Alan Krogan. Hey, Paul. Been a while since I tuned in. My ma was hospitalised on the 22nd of July with sepsis. Ah, no. Ah, jeez, I'm so sorry to hear that, Al. She's now been diagnosed with cancer, so my head is all over the place, pal. A lot of mixed emotions. Ah, I'm so sorry to hear that. Our God is good. Please, God, should be all right, Alan. Well, your ma's 86, Jesus Christ. And she's full of beans. She's good crack and the whole lot. So, yeah, listen, we'd say a prayer for her. We'd say a prayer for her. And I just want to say as well, a friend of mine's son came off a scooter yesterday, and he's bad in hospital at the minute. He's a bleed on the brain. So I hope Killian is his name. So please, God, Killian, we'll say a prayer for you. And if everyone could say a prayer inside in the group there, you know, just say a little prayer for Killian that he gets well and pulls through. As I said, he's a bleed on his brain, and his brain is swollen. He was going for surgery this afternoon. So I haven't heard how he is at the minute. Please, God, touch wood, and God bless. He will be all right. So thanks for that. Philip with Paul, the night you went live on O'Connell Street with the farmers, I felt you were snubbed by them. Possibly they see. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. All the time that happens. All the time. Yeah. Like 3 times I called Chris Duffy and he just kept walking away. I'm giving no interviews. I'm giving no interviews. But he's interviewing, like, you have SND Media now. Look at SND Media. After us telling everyone what a snake that bastard is and what he done and how he made up that company. And like, and I said it to someone I was talking to the other night as well, did an interview with him. And I said it, and he said, oh, I didn't know who that was. You're being told now who these people are. These people are snakes. We're meeting up at McDonald's in Coilmore Road, Dublin, if anyone else is interested. Just the last time I was there in McDonald's on Coilmore Road was the night of the City West riots. Yeah. Had to get out of it. Couldn't get out of it quick enough. They weren't letting cars in. They weren't letting trams in. It was mental. I'm fucking banned. Banned from where? McDonald's. Must ban me. All accounts as soon as you call out the synagogue of Satan crew. Yeah. Yeah. Irish government like a man who abuses his wife and kids, drives them mad sometimes. Barry, if you want, Barry, I can email that to you if it's easier. If you send me your email address. Mm. Mm. Will I email it? Yeah. I've sent you on the link. Do you want me to send it on to you again, Bar? Hold on. Yeah, if you just click on that StreamYard link that I sent you there, that 2057, that'll bring you in, buddy. Reduce the population and replace its all one agenda. Yes, Padda Doyle. Read me comments, me mate's story. Yeah, yeah. Read me comment, me mate's story. Sorry, where is it, Padda? I didn't. Fire up, are we? On Krogan. Padda Doyle, first thing me mate was asked. Was he vaccinated? Yeah. Yeah. Brutal, isn't it? I was the only one in the family. Now, hello there, my good friend Barry Stone. How are you? Turn on your mic. I've no mic. I'm not hearing you, Barry. Go on, you walk away with that. Just get the mic turned back on there. I was the only one in my family not to get the jab. Okay. The nurse told me, yeah. I know people still take the jabs. No, there's no sound there, Barry, for some reason. Have you got your mic muted or anything like that there? No, can anyone hear Barry? No. I can see you, Padda. Of course they know. Fauci came up 6 feet apart, yeah. Where are we? We're missing loads of bleeding thing. You ready? Imagine. Oh, thanks, Padda. No sound from Barry. Yeah, I'm not getting it either. I can't do anything with your sound, Barry. It's all right. There's no rush. Shit, I've no tea there. Yeah, someone drop out and drop back in, Barry. I'll drop you out and I'll drop you back in, right? You come back in yourself, yeah? Yeah. You come back in yourself there, buddy. Watching the census every 5 years. It's like watching a train crash in slow motion. Yeah, yeah. It is indeed. But yeah, that's we've covered Fauci. We've covered, oh Jesus, look at this one. This mad joke. Covered that. Yeah. Instagram. Yeah. Well, Barry's coming back in there. I'm just going to share this. No, here he is. It's okay. Wake up area. Screen was cancelled. Make sure you share on the screen. Hello there. I'm still not getting any sound off you, buddy. Go in. Are you on the laptop, Barry? If you're on the laptop, go down to the bottom bit there and go settings. You'll see the settings. and then go into audio and see what you're connected to your microphone was. If you can see that. You should get a drop-down box. If you go into audio, you'll get a drop-down box. Because I'm getting it. Yeah. I'm not hearing you, but you get a drop-down box, you click on it, and you click into whatever mic you want to use. When you came in, did I ask you to... I'm at the saying something there, did I? When you came in, did I ask you to add your mic or allow your mic settings or anything like that? It usually says that. Yeah, I'd say the mic is off mute. I don't know what that is now, to be honest with you. Shinny, has Paul and Casey fallen out? No. No, his mic is on mute. That's it. Para Doyle, his mic is on mute. You're back up there. If you want, you can join with your phone, Barry. It's up to yourself. You know, sit it in front of you or whatever you want to do. You probably wanted to give me stuff, did you, to put in here? Is it on your end, Paul? Have you his output muted? No, everything is good. His end on my end here. Yeah, I don't mute anyone here. I can, but there's nothing. There's nothing muted. To increase the death rate and reduce the birth rate is quite simply depopulation. Yeah. Yeah, no, there's no sound. Yeah, it's okay. Unless he unmutes himself, you're pissing in the wind. It is unmuted, I'd say. That's all new shit, I believe. Video already, yeah. What does this say? Will Zest, more like Murphy and Casey. Murphy interviewing podcast with Stalin Steenson. I fell out with Martin. I got rid of Martin. Martin's gone. We know, unless he unmutes himself. Yeah, I know he is unmuting himself. The mute button is on the touch screen. I don't know what touch screen. It's not unmuted. Okay. Open your heart. Think of young African boy and girl who lost both parents, sleeping on streets, have no food, struggling to live, stray dogs. Let's share Jesus kind loves. Yeah, join hands. Yeah, because our ministry is based on faith. Yeah, no problem. Think he's on a laptop, Rhonda. He is on a laptop, Rhonda. Yeah. If he joins with his phone, I don't think he can share screens to show some info. Yeah, that's what he's doing. The farmers are not our friends. They are all about themselves and the money. When did you ever see farmers standing with the people? Any other time? Never outside iPads or children in need, homeless. Yeah, I know. Hang on there. I'm just going to... I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to just play... I'm going to just play this Dr. Billy Ralph thing, okay? And I'm going to just see, can I get through to Barry? Okay.
Did you know that the New York Post has just confirmed in newly released private text messages from January 2021, Dr. Anthony Fauci advised the CDC director that the COVID-19 vaccine could be linked to a risk of miscarriage in the first trimester of pregnancy. While only days later he publicly told the Journal of American Medical Association there were no red flags for pregnant women, a claim he continued to repeat over the following months. They knew the vaccine was potentially unsafe for pregnant women, but they pushed it on them regardless. Now, the timing of the release of these text messages is ironic, given that Dr. Billy Ralph was found guilty of professional misconduct by the Irish Medical Council on the same day, partly for criticising the advice that pregnant women should take the vaccine. Just think about that contrast. Fauci, the man who promoted the vaccine to pregnant women while privately raising concerns, then gets a full pardon from Joe Biden before leaving office to evade future prosecution, then takes the Fifth Amendment more than 100 times when questioned by the US Senate 2 weeks ago on his response to COVID-19. Then you have Dr. Biddy Ralph, the doctor with an unblemished record who risked his entire career and livelihood to protect his patients. He is found guilty of professional misconduct. And for anybody still in any doubt, the evidence is conclusive. Not only did the COVID-19 vaccine not stop you catching or passing the illness on, but it also has the highest number of recorded adverse events per 100,000 doses of any vaccine ever released by a wide margin. And that's according to both the yellow card system in the UK and VERS in the USA. For example, the COVID-19 vaccine has about 144 reported adverse events per 100,000 doses, while the next highest figure is around 30, both for the MMR and the HPV vaccine, meaning the reported adverse event rate is nearly 5 times higher with the COVID-19 vaccine than any other vaccine ever released. Now, this information is very easy to verify for anybody willing to do so. There is something deeply troubling and wrong with the health system across the world if the man who protects his patients is punished, while the man who puts them in danger is pardoned.
Now I'm going to bring Barry up. Hello there.
Hi, how can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hang on there.
Turn the mic off on that one.
I have it off here, yeah. Hang on. Right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
That better?
Yeah, all good. That's better, mate.
Well,
how are you? How's everything?
I'm all right. I'm using the phone here. I don't know. I have the mic unmuted on the laptop, like so.
No, sure. We spoke on that laptop before. We've done. You've been
Yeah,
on the show
no, but
before on
I
that
didn't have
laptop.
problem getting it on, but I got it on. I mean, I'm not an IT guy, but I went through the settings on the computer before I got up, before I come on, and look, we just have to go with this. This will have to do, you know. Just a couple of things before first of all, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Right,
you're more than welcome. More than welcome.
Wake Up Air is closed down, so thanks for the opportunity to come on. And I won't be overly explaining myself. I don't have to explain anything to anybody to close something that I started. Right, I don't. You know, the main job has been done. We wanted to raise awareness about the COVID injections. We didn't want to do it online. We knew the algorithms were hammering everybody back in 2020, 2020. So if I wanted to raise awareness in the public space, and I couldn't do it online. So there was only one thing to do, and that was to go out and face the people who were taking the COVID injection. So that's what we done, you know. So some of our volunteers, first of all, it's nice to be here speaking on my own behalf. I appreciate that. I mean, I have always declined podcasts and stuff like that. Not really my bag. I have always declined an opportunity to, let's just say, become known in public about this type of work. Like so. And anytime I did come on, I was always speaking on behalf of the group, and you know, I always had to be very wary of some things that I may or may not say, because, you know, keeping a group of volunteers together, it's quite difficult. Everybody has different levels of awareness. Not everybody likes each other. Not everybody likes each other, you know. So I kind of would be kind of leading the orchestra and trying to take in allowances for people who are on different levels of awareness. And, you know, for me not to say some things because we might piss off a few volunteers, and then we'd have less bodies on the street, less hands handing out the leaflets. Like, so it's nice for me to have an opportunity to just speak about it as Barry, actually, just not Barry the activist, just Barry. So I really appreciate that. Just, I was listening in the background there for a little bit before I come on. So just before I talk a little bit about Wake Up Air, you mentioned a couple of things about YouTube censoring. We're heavily censored on YouTube. I didn't really do the social media thing. Our YouTube channel is about a year old there, and it's our second YouTube channel. And believe it or not, they blocked the first YouTube channel, and we were only showing videos from our the referendum campaign. So it was all very mild, but they still blocked it. But now our YouTube channel that we have there today, where it's videos of us calling out the injection, it's videos of us out in the street doing our work. So, you know, this information is being allowed to be shown now. So I would just to say to everybody there, you know, you want to be asking yourself, why were we not allowed to say these things then, and why are we allowed to say them now? Like you know, why is it free for all now? And I mean, you've got to come to the conclusion here that the regime wants everybody to know now, right? I mean, you know, the regime they want us all to give up faith now in all humans. So the reason why we're allowed to get all this stuff out now is because they want it out. Just about the issue of censorship, Paul, our YouTube channel is heavily censored. Now, I have actually put videos on our YouTube channel, and I have looked at the count, and it might be a video that's like got 200 or 300 views. Maybe we put it out like a day ago, and I will go back in a few hours later, and the 250 views will be gone down to 80 views. You know? This is what they're doing.
It's happening to us. It's happening to us as well.
Now, you know, they don't want to throw me off. They don't want to throw us off YouTube because they want to see what we're doing. They want to see our frequency. They want to see our mojo. They want to see it, like, but they will purposely put the numbers low on the counts because it puts off the middle ground. When the middle ground come over to look at it, they go, they've only had 200 views on that, so we're not going to bother listening to that. And, you know, it's all about the perception into the middle ground. Like, but just for an example, we have a video on our YouTube channel. It's Ava's grandfather. Ava's grandfather, Joe, is talking about losing, and Fergus standing beside him. And we had an excess deaths campaign, and it was one of our excess deaths campaign. We gave a few speeches outside the GPO, and then we marched up the news talk, and it's from that day. That video has had 3,400 views on our website. Wow. Now, when we host videos on our website, you're not actually watching them on our website. You're watching them in an iPlayer, and the video is actually hosted on YouTube, right? So if 3,500 people watch that video on our website, that should be 3,500 views on YouTube. But that video only shows 300 views on YouTube, and we've had 3,500 views on our website. That video was only 2.5 minutes long, and it's a video of a grandfather expressing his grief over losing his daughter. Now, even if you don't agree with us, even if you think we're all lunatics, you would still watch that video. You would watch that video just for the content that's in it. No matter what side of the fence you were on, you would watch that video. You could make excuses for some of maybe the longer videos, you know, that people maybe watch 2 minutes and then they said, "Oh, fuck this, I'm not into that." Like, so you could make some excuses for that. Like, but that's how YouTube works. That's how online works. If you're big online, you're on the wrong frequency. I'm very sorry to tell you this. All of you, anyone out there that thinks that like watching videos on YouTube is actually opposing, you're fucking deluded. You're absolutely deluded, right? If YouTube wants you known, they want you known because you're on the wrong frequency. They want you known because you're a control operative, you're a gatekeeper, or there's something about you that they will be able to manipulate further down the road. That's, you know, we're dealing with a very sophisticated machine here, the algorithms. It's way more sophisticated than we can possibly imagine. You could get 200,000 views on your bit of content, and not one of your neighbors is going to see it. Nobody's going to see it that matters. The only people that are going to see it are people that agree with you. So they will be making sure, they can actually make sure that you can spit out all your truth bombs till the cows come home, but they will keep you away from the target audience, you know? So that's just one thing I wanted to say about censorship on YouTube, right? So I'm kind of sorry that we did host our videos on YouTube, that we didn't. Now, they're also on Rumble. Now, Rumble don't do that. If somebody watches a video it's the same idea with a website. We don't put up all the data onto the website for the videos.
You put up the link. You put up a link.
It's like and it plays inside an iframe, and you know you're watching it.
You embed it.
Yeah, but we just embed it into an iPlayer, so you're actually watching it, but we haven't put up the hard copy of it onto our website. But Rumble don't do that. Like, some of our videos are hosted from Rumble, and if you watch it on our website through Rumble, the count comes up on Rumble, but it doesn't do that on YouTube. Something else I want to talk to you about there before I talk a little bit about Wake Up Eric, and I really appreciate the chance to come on, Paul. Thanks. You were talking about 50 side effects there. I just want to show this. Right, this is Pfizer's data. You know, I would have preferred to have the big screen here. But this is the back 9 pages of Pfizer's data. And like, just something I want to say here, Paul. because it's very important, because there's people probably listening now who took that injection, and it was never a vaccine, by the way. And anybody still using the word vaccine needs to be told to fuck off. Just fuck off, right? Fuck off with your word programming and your word wizardry. Just fuck off.
I agree.
If you're still calling this a vaccine, you're not awake. So, this was not a vaccine. This was a non-trial injection. So it's very, very important. Very important that we watch our own word usage here.
Yeah.
We've all been programmed. We're all suffering brainwash. Everybody. We're all suffering it. We've been brainwashed from the time we were born. And, there's a certain level of awakenedness that came through the COVID scam, but it's kindergarten awakening at this point, right? If you're already using their words or promoting their individuals or whatever, you're not really awake at all, right? You're just listening to alarm bells, and you've got some level of awareness. But what I want to say about this is, for the people that did take the COVID injection, if you took this injection years ago and you're fine, you're going to be fine, right?
Yeah.
But we're not here to put fear into every single person that took that injection. That's not our gig, right? Now, when I started out here, and I'm going to be starting a Substack soon. I'll give the name for the Substack when I get to the end of talking tonight, and I will be talking about the things that I encountered when I decided to speak up, when I decided to go onto the street and to raise awareness, and the people that were being presented to the people that were on the street, and the message going around back then was that everyone that took the COVID injection was going to die within 2 to 5 years. That message was put out into the opposition. We were told that. This was horrific. This was horrific information to be given us, because we were going back to our family and friends. Telling them they were going to die. Should any wonder they were laughing at us? Is it any wonder they wouldn't believe us? Is it any wonder they wouldn't believe anything that came out of our mouth again? Because we had been given the wrong messaging right from the get-go. From gatekeepers, the gatekeepers and the operatives. I've been here from the get-go, guys. Sorry to tell you, right? They've been here since 2019. First load of people that were presented to us were gatekeepers, operatives. They're fucking everywhere. They're all over. And I'm not going to name any names tonight. I'm going to do that in my Substack. I'll give you the name of the Substack when I come to it. But I just want to. You were talking about 50 side effects. This is the Pfizer data, right? This is the Pfizer data. This is the first lot of side effects that they, right? 1 page, 2 page. These are all side effects. These are all side effects from the Pfizer injection, right? 3 pages, 4 pages, right? There's 9 pages, 1,268 side effects. Hundreds of these are catastrophic to the human body. Hundreds of them, right? So, not everybody is going to die who took that injection. I know loads of people that took it and they're fine. Now, I know people who took it and they're not so fine. And it doesn't take away to the fact that people have been killed by this thing and people have been maimed by this thing. But it's not everybody. And it's very, very important that we get that messaging out there, because I know that people want to start speaking up about this. We have to create the atmosphere for them to be able to speak up. And we can't be running around telling them all that they're going to fucking die, because they're not going to die, right? They're just not going to die. It's not going to happen. Now, I have said that to some people. Some people in the movement here, I've said it to them over the last year. Look, we were all told they were going to die. They're not going to die. That was wrong information. And people have said back to me, well, they haven't died yet. And there's a hint of fucking, I want them to die in that. There's a hint of maliciousness, still harboring maliciousness and ill will to the people that took the COVID injections. And I would like to remind everyone out there that didn't take the COVID injections. The people that took it are living a completely different reality than us. They go to bed at night worrying, did I take that? I gave that to my kid. What did I do? We're not going to bed like that. We dodged a bullet. Right? And people that dodge bullets should not be sticking the boot on people that took the bullet. Right? And I hear people saying disgusting things still, all this time later, saying disgusting things about the people that took the COVID injections, that they're sheep and they're stupid and it's all their fault. And, you know, this is fucking folly. I mean, we're supposed to be Christians. People are saying like, oh, we're not a Muslim country, we're Christians. Are we just Christians by name? You know, are we not Christians by our actions? Are we not like going to forgive our brothers? Are we not going to forgive our brothers who were are we not going to forgive our brothers who were hoodwinked by a tens of billions pound of psychological operation? People got hoodwinked. Good people got hoodwinked. Are we not going to forgive them for beating down on us? You know, and like, we got to forgive them. Now, I know that some people are hankering for an apology. What do you want an apology for? You get your apology. You get your apology in due course, but you're not going to get your apology while you're hankering for your apology. And when you do get your apology, it'll be very heartfelt and it'll be from your loved ones. And they'll fall on the floor crying in heaps, but they'll give you that apology when they're ready. And they won't be giving you the apology on demand. And no one should give anyone an apology on demand. These people went into that medical trial. These people are living in great fear. Look, I spoke to mothers who gave that to their children, and they're terrified, and they already feel pretty shitty about doing it. I mean, what are we doing here? Now, look, the government says 7% of people didn't take the injection. It's not 7, it's about 30, right? But let's just go by their number. Is the 7% going to beat down on the 93% to make sure that the 93% don't come over and join us? So someone please tell me how the 7% is going to win the fight here. Somebody please tell me that. The 7% is like, the division is everywhere, the gatekeepers are everywhere, the operatives are everywhere. The 7% of the population is actually a huge number. But if the 7% can't get together and present something coherent, it's a shit show. It's an absolute shit show. So I would just say to everybody out there and people out there who might be listening now who took that injection, if you took that injection and you're okay, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine, right? Don't be going to bed with fear. But we need you to speak up. We need you to speak up. The people that didn't take the injection don't have the appropriate words to speak for the people who did take the injection, right? So it has to be the people that took the injection. I wish you would come out and maybe start expressing that regret that you feel about taking it. And like, even if you're all right and you haven't been injured and you still have a lot of regret, if you still have a lot of regret for taking that injection, would you please start posting that regret on your socials? All you have to do is say, I took that injection and I really regret taking it. And I'm telling you, if you guys can open the floodgates, but I can't open the floodgates, right? I can't do it. I didn't take it. I don't have the words. I don't have the lived experience that you guys have. I can be an empath and I can empathize with you as much till the cows come home, but I don't have your words. So anyone else, the rest of us in the opposition, like, we need to pull up the people that are still looking to stick the boot in, right? We need to tell them that it's not appropriate language. That, like, we're trying to win these people over. As far as Wake Up Era goes, there's no left or rights here. There's no left or rights, and there's no hatred for immigrants here when it comes to information about COVID injections and excess deaths, because that information is for everybody. That's for the left, that's for the right, that's for the black man, that's for the white man, that's for the Chinese man, that's for all men, because we were all fucked over, right? Everyone in the whole world was fucked over. So I know the immigration issue is huge, and so it should be huge, because this isn't immigration, this is a plantation. But don't be blurring the lines here by thinking that, like, all immigrants are bad or whatever. Like, I'll get onto that a little bit later on. So, Paul, there's just a couple of things I wanted to say, actually. And first of all, I want to thank all the volunteers at Wake Up Era. I love you all. I love you all. Yous are the heart and soul. Yous are beautiful people. Anyone that presents themselves in the public, anyone that came out to present themselves in the public with pieces of paper, to put those pieces of paper into the hands of the people who were not, they don't even know we exist online. The algorithm keeps them a million miles away from us. So I want to thank you all for coming out. And look, I know there are some volunteers out there who don't want this to end, but it's ending. And I'm making the decision that it's ending, because we're not effective anymore. The climate is completely different. Our core purpose was to go out there into the public space and to try to raise awareness about these injections. That was our core purpose. The fact of the reality is now there's very, very few people going in to take this now. Now, it is an absolute travesty that it's still being offered. And there's still elderly people getting hoodwinked. My own father's had a whack at them, and he'll never stop taking them. The three in his family have had a whack at them, and they're never going to stop taking them until they get pulled off the shelf. But I'm responsible for a core group of volunteers, and I'm not talking about the wider group of volunteers that come to our information drops. And it is very important that we had those people, but I'm speaking on behalf of a very small core group of people who are destroying themselves, keeping this thing up and going. And I'm one of them, who are absolutely destroying themselves. And I'm responsible to say I have to ask myself, are we being effective in today's climate? And is it time to say that this part of the work is over? And it is over. It is over. And we've done absolutely everything that we could to raise awareness in the public place. And look, Paul, and I'm not beating down on anyone here, but there's also volunteers at Wake Up Area, and their own levels of discernment is not great on certain areas. And there's a lot of people that will be on the fringes of Wake Up Area, and they themselves are getting hoodwinked by operatives and gatekeepers. And when I take all of these things into consideration, I'm not really prepared to stay quiet about some things that I'm seeing in the country. And I want to tell the people what I have experienced throughout this journey. And I want to point out some things about some people who are at the forefront here. And I want to ask some questions. Are these people all what they say? I mean, is it just words and no action? Is it, is that what it is? So there's just a couple of things, Paul. Can I carry on, Paul? Can I? Yeah.
You walk away there, Barry. I just left you with the big screen there. I left you with the screen so as you can walk away.
Well, I'll just wrap it on. I'll just wrap it on till you tell me to stop, Paul, right?
You just give me the billy when you want me to come back in to talk.
Right,
okay.
Thanks, Paul. Very good. Thank you. I just want to first of all, Paul, I'd like to say, right, back in at the time of the scamdemic or whatever, there was no pandemic, right? That's it. There was no pandemic. It was all lies. It was all lies. It was all lies. The whole lot of it. The greatest lie that was ever told. The biggest hoodwink ever. They were 30 years planning it. They moved politicians into the opposition parties to make sure that there would be no pushback on this thing. That's what they done. Mary Lou McDonald, she was with Fianna Fáil. She then went to Europe. Fucking deals were made over in Europe. She was out of Europe, then she left Fianna Fáil, and then she was running Sinn Féin a few months later. I'm really sorry to any Sinn Féin voters out there. You were fucking hoodwinked. Mary Lou McDonald has hoodwinked us all. She's not a Republican. She doesn't give a shit. She's playing her part in the globalist agenda, and they had to capture up all the opposition parties in order to get this fraud, right? They've done it in England, Keir Starmer. That's what they've done to us. That's how evil they are. That's how fucked the political system is, You're deluded if you think, if we vote 6 people in there that we're going to get anything different. I mean, it's an absolute delusion if you think that's going to happen, Anyway, I'm just trying to get up some stuff here. Yeah. So just for myself, Paul, it was a scam. I knew it was a scam, and I had wrecked everybody's head in my life at that time. My house was I'm not married, right? So, I have an apartment. So my house was kind of the hub of the social side of the family thing, all the nephews and all, they used to come over here. We used to all golf together. I had a great relationship with a lot of people, and I was wrecking their heads. I was wrecking their heads. There was no pandemic. I was pulling my hair out. I was crying. I was in bits trying to warn them, and they all got fed up with me. And one by one, I chased them all out of my life. So I had to do something. I had to do something to help these people. Now, I've no interest in being someone who's known, and I have never been to a protest in my life before I got involved with this thing. I've never been to a protest. I had absolutely no notion of protesting. My outlook was, if there's something going on in the world and I don't think I can do anything about it, the best thing for me to do is position myself that it doesn't affect me or my family. I never voted no for nothing. I voted yes for everything. all my life. I voted yes for everything till the recent referendum when we were out campaigning for the no vote. So that's just a little bit about my own background. So I didn't get involved with the opposition to help anybody in the opposition. I got involved to help the people in my life, my family, my friends, my nephew, my sisters, all the people who are around me in my life, all the people that have known Barry for all his life, the people who would pick me up when I'm down, the people that don't know Barry the activist, they would know Barry Stone from years ago. These people love me. These people know my flaws. These people know my good points. These are the people that pick me up when I'm down. I wouldn't have that relationship with the people that I see now in the opposition. This is activist Barry. So the Barry that got involved with this is a completely different Barry than the activist Barry. And I just want to get that across here, because like all throughout all of this, I refuse to join other groups, because once you join another group, it's like, oh, we're not talking about this, we're not talking about that, we don't want you to talk about this, we don't want you to talk about that. We had some very core principles that we wanted to talk about, and it was all around, there was no pandemic, and the COVID injections were not what they said it was. So like that was our core purpose, if you like, So there are people with Wake Up Early that don't want it to close, like, and I get it, I get it, and I just like, if my role in Wake Up Early was a role of that I just had to go somewhere and all these things were there for me, and I just had to be there for 2 hours, and then maybe I was able to take out a phone and I was able to like record myself there, and I was able to like, oh, look at all the great work we're doing, and then I could go home and I could post it on social media. And I mean, if that was my role in Wake Up Early, if that was my role, I wouldn't want it to end either. I'd be all up for keeping it going. So why wouldn't I? But my role was completely different. My role was making sure that when people got there, that all these things were there, that all these resources were made. And, so that was my role. And that's a much, much larger role than attendance, even though I appreciate everyone that attended. And like some people attended loads, like Adele maybe attended between 80 and 90 of our information drops. I'd say Fred might have attended 60, 70 of our information drops in the Dublin area. But I attended 250 of them. I only missed 5. And I'm responsible to make sure they happen. And I don't go home and it ends. Like, I go home and it begins. It just begins when I go home, It's like, and then we're preparing for the next one. Like, so, and I'm not on social media myself. I don't have a personal social media channel. So I wasn't using it as a way to promote myself or a way to get myself known. So it was a different thing. So I never put any restrictions on anyone in Wake Up Early. Say what you like. We never adopted spokespeople. We never said, all right, well, this is how we feel about certain things, and we don't want volunteers saying this, and we don't want. I never put any restrictions on anybody. It was a bit of a free for all, So people could say anything. So, there's to be no restrictions put on me when I decide that I've this race has been run for now, So it all comes down to, are we effective? It also comes down to, Paul, that like when I got involved with this, when I decided I was going to do something that I had chased everybody out of my life, and like they were the people I was most concerned about. I didn't know anybody in the opposition at that time. Like I wasn't the type of person who's very comfortable standing in public. I'm not that type of person. Like I have only been to not been to 5 of our information drops, so I've been to 250 of them. Every time, for 250 times, an hour before we go, I'm pulling my hair out. I'm full of doubt. I'm in, the devil's on my shoulder, telling me, don't do it, don't go, you're wasting your time. What are you doing that for? Draw fucking easy. You're going to be spat at, you're going to be cursed at, you're going to, so it's not something that comes very natural to me, like being out in public, sticking it to the man. But I never really viewed it as that. I always viewed it as, we're passing out bits of paper. So I knew when we started to get a little crew together, and I just want to pay a little bit of homage here to Philly D. Philly D is no longer with us, and there's another man no longer with us, Pat Ward, who would have been very influential at the very beginning of this. When I was I was doing the protests for about a year. I was becoming increasingly agitated with the state of the protests, that we weren't actually, nobody wanted to work with the general public. And I could see that the protests were being controlled. And I thought I was pulling my hair out, that nobody was coming together to try and raise awareness outside the protests. So I spoke to it with a man called Pat Ward, was a friend of mine that I met at the protest, and I met Philip at the protest, and we kind of had a little chat together. And I was saying, like, look, lads, I want to do something. Like, this is a load of bollocks. You know, this we're not reaching anybody here. And this is not why I done this. I don't want to be a protester. I didn't come down here to scream outside government buildings. I came down here to try and alert my family and friends who are no longer in my life as to what my concerns were. So it wasn't something that came very natural to me to do that, you know. So, but what we did talk about at the start was, even within the opposition, there was already a cohort of people out there who were presenting themselves as heroes, but they weren't going to talk about the COVID injections. And I'm not going to name any names. I will name names when I write my Substack, but there was already a cohort of people on the arena saying, we're not talking about that. So I had to get away from them people, quick, smart, because I'm not here to promote anyone. I'm not here to get anyone elected. If you want to get elected to Dáil Éireann and you want to use my sweat equity for it, you better fucking pay me for it. There's a fee for that, because you're the man, you're the one that's going to get 90 grand a year here. So I'm not going out to get any man 90 grand a year unless you're going to pay me for that. So I didn't get involved with the politics. I didn't join any groups because I wouldn't have been able to get the work done. But what we did discuss was, because of the issues that we were going to talk about, there wasn't going to be a lot of help coming from the other people in the opposition. And I knew this. I knew that the group was going to be small. But look, we'd go for a while, and we'd see what type of people materialise. So the first 6 events I had were 500 metres outside my house, Dundrum Shopping Centre, outside Dundrum Shopping Centre at the roundabout there. And I got involved with Hold the Line for 6 weeks, and we had no leaflets or anything like that. We had boards, and there was a nice couple up near Tala there who had given us like 30 or 40 boards, and they gave them to us for free. And they were stuff about the injection. It was because Pfizer's data had come out. So I made some boards based on some of the stuff that had come out in Pfizer's data. But with no leaflets or anything like that. But what did happen was, actually, and this is what made me carry on, actually, there were some people came to the first one, and I thought, if this is the caliber of people, Shay came to the first one, Nessa came to the first one, Helen came to the first one, Declan came to the first one, right? So I was thinking, if these are the caliber of people that are going to come, we're not going to need a huge crowd here. These people are enough. These people are, a lot of these people are at a stage in their life where they should not be doing this. They should be retiring. They should have been retired with their feet up, looking after the grandkids. But because circumstances in the world had become so drastic that they had forgone that life, and they were prepared to come out. So I knew that these type of people would have an effect on the general public. And, you know, you couldn't drive by Helen or Nessa or Shay or Jenny Martell. You couldn't drive by these people and think they had any ill will towards you. I mean, these people were shattering the narratives of the mainstream media just by their very presence. Just by their very presence. Just by them being there. Now, I often set up the information drops, and look, as soon as they're set up, I'm got leaflets. You won't see me behind the camera. I don't do that shit. You won't see me taking a camera out. I don't do that. I've no interest in that. I set them up and I'm grabbing leaflets. That's why I'm there. So, but sometimes I used to, like, because it was very disheartening at the start, you know, like, we were getting a lot of abuse. I got spat at, we were punched, I was getting drinks thrown at me. There was a lot of abuse coming my way, but there was also enough stuff in there to keep you going. There was enough, even at that stage, there was the odd hand coming out for the leaflet. Now, that got way, that blew up. The leaflets blew up, absolutely blew up. But at the start, so I used to set them up, and sometimes I'd sit back for 10 or 15 minutes and I'd have a smoke, and I'd just watch the motorists going by the people, and I'd watch the pedestrians go by the people, and I'd watch the effect that Helen and Nessa were having on the public. And I seen people drive by Helen, and I could see that they were questioning the whole world view, the fact that that woman was standing there with a board about these injections. And I mean, look at her. She's presented herself so well. She's an elderly woman, man. She shouldn't have to be there. So you couldn't drive by these people and think that they had any malicious intent for you. Do you know what I mean? It was just impossible to do that. Like, so that was enough to keep us going. That was enough for me to say, look, let's keep going. You know, look, Wake Up Era was a true grassroots movement. I mean, we didn't have a clue what we were doing. We weren't seasoned activists. It was all a learn as you go. Every single idea that we got, we had, you know, we say, will we do this? And the next question was, how do we do this? And then the question after that was, can we find someone that might help us do this? So it was a true grassroots organization. You know, I think some people, you know, they think grassroots is 10 presses of their keyboards. They never leave their house and they talk about grassroots. Like, the hint is in the name. It's grass. It's outside. It's not in the digital realm. It's outside, and it's roots. And the roots are in the soil, and you have to get your hands dirty. So there's no grassroots coming from some corporate hot air balloon. There's no grassroots coming from people behind the computer desk. Grassroots means outside in the public. That's what grassroots means. So we were a true grassroots organisation, and we stayed true to that all the way through, you know. So, you know, as we went on, and like, we didn't know how to make leaflets. We eventually, the regime sent people into me all the time, Paul. You know, some of them I spotted early, some of them I didn't spot. I was a little bit naive. So sometimes it took me a little bit longer to spot them, like, but the regime sent in people all the time, you know. When my discernment levels got really good, I was able to fuck them off straight away. But like, some people got into Wake Up Era now who were sent in from the regime, you know, and it took me a while to get them out, like, but when we started in May. We didn't actually get around to making any leaflets till September, but like, for them months from May to September, we were out all over the place, just with boards. They were just boards, right? And, you know, I always felt as though this, you know, we need leaflets, lads. We need to be informing. We need to be informing. But, you know, the leaflets, a thing, like the only thing I know about computers was to use it for everyday use. I didn't know how to make a leaflet. I wouldn't know how to do anything like that. Like, so we eventually, people start coming in that knew a little bit of IT, and, you know, we were eventually able to get a leaflet together. And I'll just mention, the first WhatsApp group I ever started was with 3 other people: Ginny up in Swords, and Marion and Dee and myself. Got into a little WhatsApp group because we wanted to make a leaflet about Pfizer's data. They were the only people I could get to help me. And we trashed out a few little things about things that we need to put on a leaflet and all. And then I had to go, right, who do we have that maybe might be able to help us assemble this leaflet? Like, so I'll just give those people a shout, because they were very, very helpful at the beginning of all of this, and they were the only people in Ireland that I could find that wanted to talk about the Pfizer's data. So look, at the beginning it was 6 Hold the Lions. David O'Reilly and Fiona Bradley did not want to talk about the COVID injections. They did not want to talk about the Pfizer data, right? So I need to get it away from them. I needed to have nothing to do with these people. And I ain't ragging on anyone here, right? I'm just telling, I'm telling our story, and I will go into greater detail on this in my Substack. But that is the truth. The people that were running Hold the Line, I'm not talking about the people who attended Hold the Line. I'm talking about the people who were running Hold the Line. They did not want to inform the Irish people about the COVID injections. David O'Reilly stood up in the Osprey Hotel twice, once at the end of 2022 and once in 2023, and said Hold the Line would not be talking about the COVID injections. Hold the Line would not be talking. And he also said immigration. He said immigration as well. So I needed to get away from these people, because I wasn't going to get any work done. So I made the right decision. And, you know, these people made it very difficult for me. These people badmouthed me for fucking years. For years. O'Reilly's been talking shite about me for years. Don't go, Barry. Barry's not a team player. Barry's not this. And it was all over the fact that he did not want to inform the Irish people about the COVID injections. And he was building a group of activists, and them activists weren't going to be given that information. And I knew I knew that he wasn't speaking for the people who were attending the whole of the line. He was speaking for himself, right? He was speaking for himself. He was going to use this to promote himself and to further his own political ambition. And look, good luck to him. I don't hate everything about David O'Reilly. I just don't like that part of him. And I don't like the relationship that I had with him, but I don't hate everything about him. Sometimes I hear him talking and he says good stuff, like, but bottom line for me is David O'Reilly was a man who had an opportunity to put information out about the COVID injections at a time when the whole country was getting vaccinated, and he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do it because it was unpopular. And I have no time for populists. Right? If your first rule of populism is you have to be popular to get away with it. You can't be unpopular and choose populism, you know? So it just doesn't work. Like, so look, I'll talk a little bit more about that. And I'm not here to fucking rag on anybody. I'm not here to rag on anybody. I'm just pointing out some facts as to why we had to go alone with the Pfizer data. And look, if things became very difficult for us, bad things were said about me, a lot of bad things for years. But I didn't pay any attention to it because my target audience was the Irish people who were taking the COVID injections, and they weren't in the opposition. They didn't know anything, so it didn't really bother me personally. But it prevented us on getting a bigger group together. It prevented us on expanding. It prevented us from being able to donate, because the people at that time who may have been generous with their money weren't giving it to us because of things that were being said about me, you know. So, as far as raising the money goes, we were never very good at it. I'm not a corporate person. I'm a working class boy. If I want money off you, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with your money. I'm not just going to ask. I'm not setting up GoFundMes. I worked for free. I gave 4 years of my life, 4 years of my life to this. And it wasn't just 4 years of 8 hours a day. This was 4 years of 14-hour days. This didn't stop. It was relentless. And every time we kept building new things, new work had to be done. It was absolutely relentless. Like, so there was no GoFundMe set up. So when we did need money, and I was never very good at asking for money because I don't like asking people for money. I'm not comfortable with it, you know, and I'm not a shameless self-promoter. And I didn't want anything from this. So, but I do regret that we weren't very good at asking for money. And I do feel as though, you know, we managed to print 1.25 million leaflets. And I do feel, had I hadn't had the obstacles put in our way, that maybe we could have produced 3 million leaflets. Maybe we could have got a bigger group together if all of that nonsense hadn't gone along at the start. Like, but I don't have any regrets about what I've done, but it's over. Like, it's over. So I would just say to the people there who want to hang on to Wake Up Era, it's over, guys. It's over. Okay. The mission has been done. The mission has been accomplished. Now, this is a 10-year fight for me, and we're halfway. Yeah. So it's half time. So it's time to come in now to the dressing room and just be honest with ourselves that we need to change the team around, that we need to alter our tactics, that everybody needs to have a breather here, and we need to rest them, and we need to prepare ourselves for the second match, for the second half of the game, you know. So and what we had is no longer serving its purpose, right? And it's all, for me, it's all about serving the purpose. It has to serve the purpose. We're asking people to give up huge amount of their time, and it has to bring value. It just has to bring value, you know. I made some notes of things that I wanted to talk about, and I'm having a problem getting into my computer now. It's normal for me to have problems when anytime I'm doing this type of thing, all the equipment seems to fuck up on me, you know, one way or another. But I would also like to talk about, Paul, if you don't mind, that we did run an excess deaths campaign when the information came into the public space that there were excess deaths. Am I all right to keep going, Paul? Do you want to stop?
You keep going there, mate. You walk away. Yeah, talk about whatever.
There were, you know, when information came into the public domain, particularly the work done by IrelandExcessDeaths.com, when that information came into the public domain, like, we just said, okay, well, we have something to go with now. We have stats, you know, like we have something to bring. Now, I'd just like to say something, Paul. The excess deaths campaign, I didn't really enjoy that. It was, you know, now I always made sure that when we were doing all that, going outside, we went to about 6 media outlets. We went to a few politicians' offices. We went to 3 or 4 HSE head offices, and we delivered our evidence and we read our letters outside and all of that. But for me, that was more like protest. Right? That was very protesty, and we kind of moved away from handing out the leaflets and all of that. And like Adele was very good at that type of thing. Like, and you know, Adele came to us at a time when we kind of needed someone who was comfortable in front of the camera. We had put on a big information drop outside RTE. This was a changing moment for me, actually, what happened there that day. I'll just briefly talk about it. We put on an information drop at RTE. It cost us 800 quid, and all the usual suspects came to it. Andy Hisman was there at the time, and Maliki was there, and all of that. Like, they never gave us a fucking fiver towards it. Yeah, not one fiver. We spent 800 quid on that day, and look, I would have been mortified publicly speaking at that time. So we didn't really have a spokesperson from Wake Up Air at that thing. But a lot of things happened that day that kind of, I went, fuck this, I'm getting away from all of these people. You know, the boys got up, they done their speeches, they took photographs, some of them edited up on social media. Yeah, this was the fucking shenanigans that was going on. And that was a breaking point for me. That was a time when I thought, you know what, we're going to have to speak ourselves. Fuck this, like, you know, we're emptying our pockets here, and we're inviting a whole load of charlatans down here, and not one of them would even put a call out to try and raise us a few euro for putting on this day, you know. That was a big turning point for me. That's when I decided I'm going to have to pull on my big boy pants now, and I'm going to have to start talking. And, you know,
I'll be honest with you. I remember that day. I was there that day, which is as well that day. I remember it well. And not one of them big accounts, that so-called big accounts, promoted that day. I think one of them did the day before. Now that's what annoyed me about it.
Yeah, look, apart for me, it was a view widening day for me, because I had to like say, look, Barry, you got to pull on your big boy pants here now, and you know, this fear that you have of speaking, you're gonna have to get over it. You're gonna have to get over it, or else there's going to be a whole load of charlatans are going to fucking come in here and devour your work, and they're not. And these people have no interest in bringing the message to the wider audience, and you know, that's what we were always about. So I mean, even the thing, we went outside RTE eight times in total. You can't give out leaflets outside RTE. It's not a great spot. It's not a spot for giving out leaflets, and you know, I was always aware of that. So it was kind of more. It was kind of more protest. You know, it was kind of more protest. Like, so, there was a few moments like that throughout the journey where I thought, you know, I'm gonna have to step in further here. I'm gonna have to come out of my comfort zone here. You know, I have the list. I just made myself a few notes that just things that I wanted to mention. So the excess deaths campaigns, IrelandExcessDeaths.com, they were publishing some information. So that was stuff that we were able to put on leaflets, right? That was so we went to all these public bodies, and you know, Adele came to us. We were about a year in when Adele joined us, and Adele was comfortable in front of a camera, and like, so Adele slotted in there grand with that part of it, and that thing kind of happened to us all throughout the 4 years. Every time we were stuck on something, somebody would come into our life to help us, and you know, I put it down to God, the God frequency, the goodness frequency, whatever you want to say. We were full of good intent. We had no personal agenda. We all just wanted to raise awareness in the public, and every time we ran into a problem, somebody would come out. Somebody would come into the group who could offer us a way out of that problem. So I believed that it was God. I believed it was the God, whatever God you believe in, whatever version of God you believe in. And you know, the men in white coat, the men in the white robes in Rome don't represent me. They don't represent my version of God. You know, as far as I'm concerned, they put the fucking thorns on Jesus' head. Give Jesus a break there and take the thorns off his head, lads. You know, so I love the Jesus story. I love it. I love it because it's full of empathy and compassion, and I love it because it says that you do not need a church to know God. I mean, it was the church that hijacked the Jesus story, but the Jesus story itself it's a beautiful story. You know, I'm not the most devout Christian in the world, but I like the idea of forgive and forget. I like the idea of helping each other. I like the idea of that I can connect to God at any stage. Just me, simple Barry, me, that I don't have to go through a church to get there, you know. So Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So yeah, so look at the excess deaths campaign. We got the footage, right? We have loads of footage. If you go to our YouTube channel, the handle is Wake Up Bearer One. There's about 70 videos on it, and look, you can see the work that we've done. You know, a lot of that work was done around the excess deaths campaign. All our early work, the handing out the leaflets at the road junctions and all, that was all done by a very small group of people, and we weren't recording ourselves at that time, right? We were.
I think I remember doing one which is at Blanchardstown. Do you remember that day? And your man
Yeah,
moved us on. Do you remember that?
I do, Paul. Yeah,
What was his name? Was with us, Parsons.
yeah, MJ.
MJ. That's it. Yeah,
Yeah,
sound guy.
I
Sound
know,
guy.
I know MJ's a great guy. MJ's a great guy. MJ really is a great guy, you know. So for some reason, you see, this always happens to me. My computer now won't give me that list that I made up
It
today. They were
happens.
just
Listen, Barry, once you're talking about anything at all, it happens with mine as well. If I
yeah.
talk about
So
Jews, it usually goes off.
yeah, well, you know, look at the thing. You know, I personally, the message that the Jews done it all. It's a very hard message to bring out to the public space, lads. You know, look, I don't know, and look, I'm not defending anyone here. I'm not defending anyone here. I'm just saying. I couldn't make a leaflet saying the Jews done it all and then go out there and hand it out. You'd be fucking dead. Someone will kill you. It's the same as the immigration issue. And look, I have a bit of a bone to pick with the people who are just immigration. You're not winning anyone over, guys. You've been banging on about it for years. You have failed to even produce a fucking leaflet to tell the general public what are your actual concerns about immigration. What are you concerned about? Is it a plan? You're not telling people that it's an agenda. You're not telling people that this all goes way back to the Lisbon Treaty. You're not telling people anything. And the message that is being fed to the middle ground is you all hate immigrants. And you aren't combating that. You aren't combating that with like written information. But what are your actual concerns? So do you want to win? You know, look at Paul, I'll just be honest with you. A lot of people don't want that to do with the middle ground. You know, there's a lot of people there, they don't want anything to do with the middle ground. They just want to stay in this little elitist bubble that they're in. You know, oh, the people that took the injections are stupid and I'm not stupid because I didn't take them, so now I'm better than them. You know, there's an elitism in that way of thinking, right? And the regime wants the people that know what's happening to not engage with the people that don't know what's happening. That's what they want. They want us all together saying they're all fucking stupid. How can, you know, look, I'll use the 7% analogy again, but it's not 7, it's 30.
At least, I think it's more. I'd say 40, maybe 50.
Well, yeah,
I don't think
look,
a lot of us.
I'm just saying like 30% of the people didn't take the COVID injections, you know. Now, like, they do not want that 30 engaging with the 70. So how do they do that? So, I mean, they pump in bad actors. They pump in operatives and gatekeepers who pump out, like, they're all idiots. They're all stupid. You're the chosen one. You're the one that's awake. You didn't take the injection. That means everyone in your family is a fucking idiot. Yeah? Because they took it. This has been sewn into our narrative to keep us away from the very people that we should be engaging with. So, you know, I know who's done this. I know who they are. I'm not going to be naming names tonight, but I'm going to write about it. Like I've been watching gatekeepers here for 4 fucking years, and I've kept my mouth shut. I've kept my mouth shut because I had to keep a group together. I had to keep a group together who were heavily focused on distributing written material relating to the COVID-19 injections and excess deaths and Pfizer's data and all the things. All the things that were our concerns. I'm after getting that up on my page there now. So we got some footage from the excess deaths campaign, but look, it was very protesty, and it wasn't the work that I really enjoyed, to be honest with you. Now, I never went to these things without leaflets, and I always made sure that we had a little walk through the town when we were going to speak outside the media outlet, that we walked down the town and we had leaflets in our hand. I was always adamant, leaflets. If there's no leaflets, I'm not going. So We got some good footage. I'm going to make a documentary later in the year about us trying to warn the establishment. I mean, I have hundreds of hours of footage of us doing that. Like, so, so that's another project for another time. Like, but I just would like to say,
well, if you can help you in any way with Gale Force Media, that's no problem. Don't hesitate to ask.
I know, and I'm not having a go at you here or anything like that, but I've now that I'm not waking up to 40 messages from volunteers now every morning. And I don't have to deal with the ins and outs of it. I've actually been watching some content. I never watched any content from you guys, from anybody, right? I just never watched it. I didn't want to pollute my mind, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, but like, you know, sometimes like I'm not having a go at John Waters here. John's a good guy, like, and you know, his intellect is fairly solid, but like, I had spent fucking 3 days working on stuff, and then we were away for a weekend, and we hammered out thousands of leaflets, and then I came back and I tuned into John Waters' podcast, and you know, within 10 minutes, him and the fella from Mayo, the fella that wears the beanie hat, they called the Irish people stupid 12 times between the two of them in about 10 minutes. And like, that just fucking disgusts. That just disgusts me. I'm not having a go with John Waters here. Like, I'm not, like, I've no place with John Waters. Like, but even John himself, presents himself as someone who is like very deep seeing and all that, he can't see the damage that it does when you call people stupid. I found all that very insulting. That like I myself and another crew of people had given so much of ourselves that weekend, and then we come back, and the very people that we're trying to reach are being called stupid by someone who's like a big figure in the Irish movement, you know. And I just took great offence to that, you know. So, and I'm not having a go with John. John's not the only one. Everyone's done it, you know. Everyone's like, you know, and I get it. They're trying to build a platform for themselves, and you know, their reasons for doing this are not the same reasons that I done this. So like, they're trying to build a support base, they're trying to build a fan base, and you know, sometimes you have to like play to your fan base. Maybe you have to tell your fan base that you're the special ones and all of that. But I just found all that stuff disgusting, and you know, I couldn't be part of it. Like, so, so you know, that's just that language being fed into the opposition is very damaging to us. It's very damaging for us to be feeling elitist. We are a tiny minority here, guys, and the people that are actually doing a bit of speaking up, like we are tonight, and other people who are having podcasts and stuff like that, we're a very, very tiny minority. When the tiny minority tries to beat down on the big majority, you're fucking not winning this, man. They're not coming over, and you know, we should be more focused on being empathetic towards these people, and we should be Christians about it. We should be holding our hands out and saying, look, I forgive you, you know. So that was just, I got off point there, you know. So just for some people who played like a slightly larger role.
We've about another 10 minutes. Okay.
Thanks, Paul. Just for the people who played a slightly larger role, like people like Adele, who came to like 80 or 90 of our things. Thank you very much, Adele. People like Ferg, who came to like 50 or 60 of our things. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. There's been like loads of people have attended dozens of our information drops. Thank you very much. Some people didn't like handing out leaflets. Some people came to Wake Up Early to protest. That was okay with me. A person holding a board is better than sticking on a lamppost. But the heart and soul people, the blood and guts people, were the people that would step into the cars, the people that would go around housing estates, delivering leaflets. You're my people. You're the reason why I done this, right? It's you're the people who helped the Irish people the most. Not the video recordings, not the roaring and the shouting, not all that stuff. The other stuff, the heart and soul operators. And you know who you are. You're coming around the country with us, right? People like Declan, and you know, Declan has given me fucking lot of his hours there driving me around the country. I'd like to thank Katrina. For the first 2 years, Katrina chained herself to Wake Up Early. And Katrina was someone who took the COVID-19 injections and then met us, and then met the wonderful people in Wake Up Early, and they won her over. They won her over, and Katrina had a fire in her belly that nobody else brought that fire in their belly, because Katrina had been wronged, and Katrina was waking up from the Emperor of Lies. And like, I watched Katrina go through her journey of like realizing that the pop stars that she was looking up there weren't what she thought they were, that the media were lying to her, that the doctors lied to her. And, I watched her go through that journey, and it was crippling for her. And I would just say to everybody out there that this is the journey that we're asking people to go through. We're asking people to shatter their worldview, right? We're asking people to believe that we're asking people to believe that the establishments, the trusted establishments like the political establishment, the media establishment, and the medical establishment have conspired to cause them harm. Anyone that absorbs that information is going to have a mental breakdown, right? Now we're asking millions of people out there to put themselves through a mental breakdown, and look at what it's done to, like, this thing has aged me 10 years. I've aged 10 years in the last 2 years. This thing has wrecked my mental health. This thing has given me burnouts, blackouts, loads of tears. And we're asking the Irish people to go through a journey that's going to be very, very hurtful and harmful to them. So I would just say to you is to try and understand what it's like for people. And it's not, like, we're all seasoned now, and but I would just say to people, just try and have a little bit of sympathy as to where people are here. It's not easy to wake up to this, right? And don't be too worried if people don't wake up and get it all. Don't be too worried if people suddenly go, do you know what, you are onto something, and then they run to the false light, because the false light is going to present a watered down version of this. People like Una McGurk, Eddie Hobbs, all these people, these are false light operatives. This is the anti-establishment people. These are here to capture the newly awakened people, and these are going to pour the Irish Sea on all of this, and it'll be a no blame. They're looking for a no blame for the politicians. They want us to blame the CDC, the FDA. They want us to blame the Irish Medical Council, but they don't want us to blame the politician that's in our locality. They don't want us to blame the doctor. I have yet to hear Marcus de Bruin, Vincent Carroll, let's say Pat Morrissey. I have yet to hear them condemn their own profession. The doctors, the one who done the fucking jabbing, the pharmacists. I hear people saying the people are stupid, they jabbed themselves. Let me correct you there. Not one single person got a needle, got a vial, filled the needle, and fucking stuck it in their own arm. That didn't happen. The doctors done the jabbing. The people did not inject themselves. The injection was given to them. So any idea out there that people injected themselves with a harmful product, it's folly. It's absolute folly. And the fucking doctors done it. Who's criticising the doctors? Like, how hard is it to rent out the RDS now and make a call out for the 5,000 GPs in Ireland to come to the RDS? And we'll have a few concerned doctors there who are going to tell every GP in Ireland to stop jabbing their patients. I have seen no action. I have seen no action like coming from these doctors. I haven't even seen a leaflet. I haven't even seen a leaflet coming from these doctors. A leaflet to give to the activists to go into their communities and try and raise some awareness. I haven't seen any of that coming from these doctors. The only one I'd give a pass there is me personally, and it's only me, and I get it that not everybody was heavily invested in this issue as I was, so I have to remind that of myself, and I have to go easy on some people. But the only person I met across, the only one of those doctors that I would give any credibility to is Anne McCluskey, because Anne McCluskey was on the street. Anne McCluskey did produce leaflets. Anne McCluskey did try and get a group of people out there. Anne McCluskey did present herself in the street. And Anne McCluskey was never very shy about saying that this is a fucking bioweapon. Now, I'm not promoting anyone here. I'm not promoting Anne McCluskey either. I don't know Anne McCluskey. I met her a few times. I found her to be a very nice woman. I'm only talking about, I'm observing people's actions. Not people's words, not podcasts. They're sitting around the round table talking about shite, and then it goes nowhere. 2,000 people see it, and then it stops. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about real, discernible actions. and I haven't seen any actions from these doctors at all outside the echo chamber. That's just my opinion on it. I'm going to write about it in my Substack. My Substack is going to be called A Stone's Pondering. It's open there now. It's A Stone's Pondering. I'd love it if you want to subscribe to it, and then you'll get an alert. I think that I'm going to publish the first article mid-September. It's going to
Can
be
you
6.
send me on the link and I'll post it? I'll post it to everyone.
I
I just
It's
want to
going
read something here. A friend of yours and mine sent this in. This is from Ferg Power. Barry, wake up era, a legacy of true compassion, humanity, and love forever set in stone. There are no words to describe the love and respect that I feel in my heart for Barry Stone and every fearless wake up era volunteer who took to the streets to warn their fellow man about the mortal danger of these toxic injections. Only the people who gave their time selflessly and who looked for nothing in return will know the hostility that we faced at the start. We also got to witness the phenomenal change in people's attitudes after they realized that they had been duped, coerced, bullied, or fearmongered by pharmaceutical and political criminals. Not to mention RTE and all the bought and paid for low-life scumbags like Tuberty, etc., who even used an innocent young girl on the toy show to advocate for the absolute poison. I have mixed emotions with the news Barry is winding up Wake Up era down. It feels like the end of an era. There's a slight sadness that comes to me, and I totally understand why he is at this time. I thank God for introducing me to some of the most wonderful men and women in this country has ever produced. Loving, selfless, caring, brave, honest, true, strong, resilient and courageous, with their hearts the size of incredible heights. I honestly believe that the direct action Barry took and inspired others to join him saved numerous lives over the past 4 years. He ran himself into the ground to try help others, and asked for absolutely nothing in return. And you did indeed. A fair play in a country full of self-serving and self-promoting 10-faced rats. I thank God every day there are still true Irish men like Barry Stone who make the world a better place by simply being there. This fight never ends until we get justice for Ava, justice for all. Thanks for that, Frank. Nice words.
Right, thanks very much. I appreciate it, Paul. I've sent you a link there to my Substack. Look, I'm going to publish. It's only going to be 6 articles. I don't want to be a writer, right? So I'm just going to publish 6 articles. The series is called I used to think activists were arseholes, then I became one. The jury is still out. That's going to be that's the name of the name of the series. There'll be 6 articles. The first one will be out mid-September, and I'm going to talk about my own journey through activism and the things that I met. And I will be talking about the characters that I met that were at the forefront of this. Some of them are still there, and my dealings with them, and when I went to approach them to see could I help raising awareness on this. So I will be talking about this. And look, I just want to say this. I'm not here to cause division. I'm also not here to sit back and be led down the fucking garden road by a load of fuckwits. I'm not here for that either. But I'm not here to cause division. Now, if I have concerns about something and I don't express those concerns to good people, and it turns out that those concerns were correct, well then, the onus is on me then for not raising the alarm or not expressing my concerns. Now,
that's exactly what happened to me a while ago. I knew something and I told people something, and people fell out with me over the thing I told them.
Well, look, Paul, because on your own situation, Paul, and look, I listened to your last couple of podcasts, and I'll just say to you, Paul, our opponents, right? Our opponents don't do this stuff. Our opponents, no matter how they hate each other, no matter what, I'm sure loads of them hate each other. They will never go into the public arena and rip each other apart. They know it because it's such a bad fucking vibe, right? Yeah. It's just such a bad vibe. They don't do it. So look, I understand you've got some concerns. You had some concerns. There was a split in your group, and you had some concerns. But I would say to you, Paul, is just move on from it now, and get the work done. And I would just remind anyone here who's like to the forefront of this: the vast majority of Irish people, and all the people that go to the protests and all, they're good people. They're good people who just want good things for the country. Now it's up to the people who are going to represent them to represent them, right? So if you're following people and they're not representing you, withdraw your support. Now, look, what I would say to everybody is look in the fucking mirror. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, what can you do, right?
Yeah.
Not what can Herman Kelly do for me, or what can Paul Fitzsimons do for me, or what can Barry Stone do for me, or what can Una McGurk do for me, right? Look at yourself. What can you do? What can you do to raise awareness in your community? What can you do to raise awareness inside your own family? What can you do, right? Because we have got to empower individuals here, because if the people standing on the stages are the wrong people are going to have to replace them, and it's going to probably going to have to be ordinary people, like people tuning into this. You're going to have to reach deep inside yourself and say, do you know what? I'm going to have to. These people are not representing me, so I'm going to have to step up and represent myself, and represent my concerns myself. So I'm all about empowerment, and I will be covering that subject of, like, who the fuck told you you're not good enough? I will be covering that subject in one of my articles, because let me tell you, you are good enough, right? You are good enough, right? To everybody
just
out
put
there.
up your Substack. There's your Substack there. And we're gone over the time, Barry. On that note, we're going to have to leave it. So do you want to give me quick?
Just one more thing, right? Just one more thing, right? So this is it, right? We went out and we done it with Wake Up Early, right? We handed out 1.25 million leaflets to people who are never going to encounter this information online. We done it. We didn't just talk, we done it, right? We're not talkers, we're action men. We're action men and women. We took the actions, right? So I just want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart, and I appreciate that some of you don't want to let this thing go, and I appreciate that. By the way, our website is staying open, and we will be working over the next coming days to just pare down our website and make it just a representation of our work. And we've also written some wonderful articles, but they're buried in the arsehole of our website. So the website was a self-build. It was the thing that took most of my time, and it was the worst performing part of Wake Up Early. We didn't know what we were doing. Look, however, a couple of thousand people still come to it every day, but tens of thousands of people came to that website, and they were never going to come back, because we were fucking self-learning how to build a website. Like, so, that's no flaw of me or the guy who tried to help me build that website. We didn't know what we were doing. It was a self-learned thing. What we have now is quite presentable, but there's videos of all sorts on that. And I'll be honest with you, there's operatives. We were just putting up videos of everybody. Yeah. So we're going to pare down our website and make it more of a presentation, but we will still be publishing some articles. My website is paid up for another 10 weeks before the yearly fee is up. So for the next 10 weeks, we will be publishing our own articles, and I will be publishing the articles from my Substack. So if you go to Substack, it's like A Stone's Ponderings is the name. I'd appreciate a follow. And look, I'm not here to cause division. I'm here to express my concerns. The last thing I'll say, Paul, is I've been working on the 3% rule, right? If I hand out 100 bits of paper and if three people get something from that, I count that as worth it. So I'm working on the 3% rule. If I write an article and 200 people read it, and 6 people in the opposition who may be looking up at the false light say, do you know what, Barry's trying to help me here. I don't care what the other 194, you can shit down on me as much as you like. I don't care, right? I'm on the 3% rule here. I know that there's not any person in this movement is going to capture everybody. There's not anyone, nobody, because of the diverse nature of the human being. So I'm working on the 3% rule, and that's what keeps me going. Paul, I think that's it. I actually didn't have my list in front of me, so I probably didn't say some of the things that I wanted to say. But
listen, you can come back on again. That's no problem, mate. That's no problem.
Thanks very much for having me on. And look, I wish you well with your thing, and all the squabbling and all the fighting that's going on. Look at people, it is what it is. And I've read some of your comments, and I know that a lot of the people who are only kind of engaged in, like, they consume a lot of content, and like they have a lot of goodwill, but they're part of opposing is just to consume content. And I've been reading some of the comments on your last couple of shows, and I know people are pissed off that there's a lot of bickering and a lot of fighting. I just like to say this to everybody: if things aren't correct, if the correct people are not taking us forward, well, then there has to be bickering and fighting, right? There has to be, because the vast majority of us aren't here to be led down the garden path. We're here because we want to help the country. And look, if if it's a little bit of bickering and fighting, and if the whole fucking opposition has to be torn up and reevaluate itself, I'm up for that, right? Let's not forget, it's a 10-year job here, right? It's 2030 is their deadline. It's 2026 now, right? We've got over 4 more years now, lads, to get ourselves together and to try and present ourselves in some coherent way. So don't be worried. The reason why the opposition is in tatters is because the correct people were never there to take it forward, and there's people who aren't happy with that. And what do you want us to do? Do you want us to just shut our mouth? You want us to just shut our mouth and watch the people be led down the garden lane? So, thanks very much, right? So, look, the old Barry, just the last couple of days now, the old Barry has started to emerge, the pre-activist Barry. I've even reached out to some of my old friends, the people that love me most, to try and get them back in my life. I'm getting up now. I'm getting up now and playing a bit of music in the morning instead of engaging with 60 messages, you know. So, thanks very much. But look, it's not the end. It's not the end, right? We're going to try and we're reevaluating now. And we're going to see, can we help a little bit going forward after we've all catched our breath a little bit. And yeah, so look, at the next protest the next thing I'm going to is on September the 14th, I think they're going to do try and stop the city thing. I'm going to get involved with that, right? Yeah, they're the working class people are my people. The people who aren't getting a look in, the middle classes are fucking ruining the opposition here, lads. I'm going to write about that as well. But the working class people are my type of people. That's the vibe that I like, you know. And it's actually the working class vibe is the vibe that terrifies the establishment. Believe it or not, they want a middle class vibe. They want a watered down version of this, you know. So, look, we're halfway into the fight, guys. So, you know, don't get disheartened. We've over 4 more years to go in this thing. So, thanks for having me on, Paul. I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. I'm sorry if I rambled on.
You're all right. The one and only Barry Stone. Thank you, Barry. Cheers, mate. I will talk to you during the week. Thanks, mate. And there you go. Barry's gone. And what a gentleman Barry is, I have to say. All the comments, like everybody, every comment. There wasn't a bad comment in there now, I'm being honest with you. And I'm going to be honest, we're at the end of the show. Jesus, we've done 2 hours, 36 minutes. It's brilliant. Brilliant. And people were saying, you just let Barry speak. Barry, I listened to Barry talking all night, lads. I'm being honest with you. He's a great man to speak, and I don't know why he doesn't get out in front of the camera more often. But what I will say is, it's like every night when I'm leaving here, I say the truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend it. You just let it loose, and it will defend itself. Good night and God bless. Take care.